I was funny. Marcelo's not here. I was expecting the live from Florida
I know we miss you, Marcel, but
and parts unknown.
we have a lot of our usual suspects are not here because they have not seen Spider-Man No Way Home,
Wimps.
and they can't make the time for
I
whatever
haven't seen
reason
it,
to go
and
see
I'm
it on
here.
opening night. But only Braxton and I are the cool kids tonight. Ruben, you're just here because whatever.
I got
It's
nothing else to do.
it's nice to have a gamer represented on the streams.
We gotta talk. We gotta
It's
get me on
like
your Twitch.
we gotta get a Twitch. Ooh, you could just run it all the time. You could just pretend to be me and run the Twitch all the time. That would be great.
Should make like a photorealistic mask of you, and I'll put it on.
The next Michael Myers shouldn't be William Shatner. It
I
should
was like,
be my face. It would be
I
like,
love Picard.
guys, can you make it show for a second? I forgot to do something as I
Yeah,
stupidly always do. So I'll be right back.
Sure. Hey, Ruben, how's it going?
pretty good. Yourself, sir? How you doing?
Oh, pretty good. I can't
Oh, there it
complain. Like
is.
it was a super solid week. Spider-Man landed, so I went and I saw that yesterday at
Oh
7.
yeah, yeah.
You
The
know,
reviews are very good.
yep. I cleansed my Spider-Man palette with some Wheel of Time. Did you watch Wheel of Time this week?
No, I'm behind 2 episodes, I think now.
Okay, so you're on
Yeah,
episode 5.
the last one I saw was I saw the one with the dragon where they fuck him up. I don't remember what the last one was,
Okay. I
but
also
yeah,
finished watching Arcane
yes.
at the beginning of the week. And that was one of your suggestions. So thank you because that was so good, dude.
Arcane is amazing. It's a work of art.
Mm. Yep, it absolutely is. Like I was trying to remember like a an animated show that I enjoyed as much just lately, and the only thing that I could really come up with is Clone Wars.
Do you normally watch animated stuff?
No. Mhm. I know that there's a lot of really good animated media, but I just haven't. I just haven't watched it. But that was amazing. Dude.
Yeah, Arcane is incredible. The writing, the acting, the music, the art direction, the animation. Like, there's nothing I don't like about it.
So, who are your top 3 characters?
Like my favorite characters that
Mhm.
I in the, I mean, Jinx is amazing.
Mhm.
She's like the Joker 2.0 on another
Yeah,
level.
totally.
I mean, I love Vi. I love Caitlyn. Silco is awesome. Like, what a
Mhm.
villain, but
Yeah,
not
what
a
a villain,
villain.
dude. Yeah.
Like you can sympathize with why he's doing the way he is. And I loved his relationship with Jinx and the way they like. I was scared that it was going to be some weird sexual thing,
Hmm.
but it was more like a mother daughter or father daughter kind of thing. He really cared for her like a father, which was interesting.
Wait, what are y'all talking about?
Arcane.
Oh,
Okay,
Arcane. I don't even know that show. I haven't even watched it.
Ruben's running down his top characters.
All right, I'm back. I had to tweet the tweet. I forgot to tweet the tweet, so the
Tweet,
tweet has been
tweet.
tweedledee tweet. All right, so Ruben, you have not seen any of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans at
Never.
all.
Nope.
Did you see the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield ones?
Yeah, and Into the Spider Verse.
And Into the Spider-Verse. Interesting. What has deterred? What has like kept you from being like wanting to see the Tom Holland ones? Just out of curiosity.
Uh, Nothing in particular. I just don't really watch Marvel movies anymore, so
Oh, okay. Well, you gotta watch
it
these.
just kind of started
Like,
around the time he became.
Starfleet Boy. Also, a thing I think is that we can age out of the Spider-Man movies. So when I went to my local theater yesterday, where I generally see all of my big films, like I saw Black Widow there, I saw James Bond there, I saw Shang-Chi there, and
Shang-Chi was
now
great.
and now I have seen Spider Man at that movie theater. So at those 3, well, I mean, obviously James Bond because James Bond has an older audience. But just those like Marvel-y, action-y type movies, like those movie or Spider-Man drew a lot of teenagers and people in their really, really young 20s. Like I felt like I was the oldest person in that Spider-Man movie yesterday, where that wasn't true for Shang-Chi and Black Widow, you know? Um,
I think that's by design. I really think that the Tom Holland Spider-Man films are targeting the tweenie from tweens and older. Like I
mhm,
Yeah, he's a
100% think
younger Spider-Man, sort of.
he's like a high
mhm,
school Spider-Man. He's like he's just graduating high school in this one. I think that's by design. I think though that there's enough. I don't know, like the things that I like about it for all ages. I think that's part of my why I like it. I've always thought Spider-Man should be like more of a general audience kind of flair vibe.
mhm,
Not to say that the previous iterations weren't, but they were definitely darker in tone, I
mhm.
think, than these are. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that there would be. So you're saying though, Braxton, are you saying like you felt aged out though, like it's not for you anymore, Spider-Man?
You know, so I absolutely loved Homecoming. I thought Homecoming was awesome. Um, the second movie, Far From Home, I thought that was pretty good. You know, I enjoyed the Mysterio stuff, and this one, I really only kind of enjoyed the last 20 minutes.
When the
Like,
other two Spideys came.
uh-huh.
Spoilers.
Like,
Oh boy,
That it
like,
says the title of this is spoilers, so hopefully no
Father, he
one's
mhm,
just
watching.
clicked onto the stream to give you a like right when you said that.
mhm.
Anyway, sorry, Braxton. Carry on.
So it was called Spider-Man No Way Home. Like as I was watching, I was thinking it should be called Spider-Man Extremely Poor Decision Making. Um, this is like the second movie where adults have enabled Spider-Man to make really, really poor decisions. You know,
Wow, I didn't even
um,
Oh
pick up on
no!
that, but that's interesting. I like where this is going.
Sorry, I was
mhm.
talking to my game now.
and like
Uh,
and like I was watching the Doctor Strange Doctor Strange 2 preview, and it was like, oh, and there was like this voice that said, oh, like Stephen Strange, like you're the most like dangerous man in the universe. You must be stopped. After seeing Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm like, you know what? Doctor Strange must fucking be stopped. Wanda, come get his ass.
that's what's gonna happen too.
He is too goddamn dangerous.
It is. That's an interesting point that I hadn't thought of, but like, I think wow. So you're saying like these adults are the ones that are making the bad decisions, like that. You're not blaming Peter Parker necessarily. You're saying that the adults are enabling him, and it's kind of true, except that Mysterio was being a manipulator, right? He was
Mhm.
trying to get those glasses, so I could see that the motivation there. What was like? Why would Doctor Strange? I guess okay. So let's do this for real quick for the audience and for Ruben. Blue, you said you saw the movie, so maybe you don't need a synopsis real
Hey,
quick,
Blue.
but hey, Blue. I think I said hey, Blue. Hi, Blue.
You're my boy,
Ruben.
Blue.
So like in Spider-Man Homecoming, basically we start out with the interesting thing I think about these movies is like they completely turn Spider-Man your expectations of Spider-Man like on their head, right? Like the normal tropes that Spider-Man's supposed to go through, they're just like changed a little. And I think this movie did a good job of like kind of like uh giving an answer to why it's so different. But like Spider-Man's in high school, we never get like the Spider-Man getting bit story. We don't ever see that with Tom Holland. He refers to it, but you never actually see it. Whereas in the previous iterations, we always see the
Right.
origin of Spider-Man, how he got bit, how like part of the fun of those movies is like watching him get his powers. But we start off like this guy is already Spider-Man. We never see that. We don't get the death of Uncle Ben in these Spider-Mans. Like we get a reference to Uncle Ben, like a minor reference to him, But not only that, Aunt May's much younger than she usually is in Spider-Man, and she's single and she's ready to mingle and like all kinds of things. Like, she's a different Aunt May than we've ever seen as well. So this Spider-Man series, the Tom Holland one in particular, and especially, and I'm sure he's fine with me referencing what he said before, but Fothery in particular doesn't vibe with this Spider-Man at all.
Right.
He wants like a Spider-Man, like he vibes with a more traditional depiction of Spider-Man, but like he doesn't get like Spider-Man going off to MIT, for example, or like, being super like in a STEM school, I think is what they're called or whatever. Like he just thought of Spider-Man as like Peter Parker as like a regular kid, went to a regular high school, so on and so forth.
Right. He was a smart kid in public school.
Yeah. But I think what they did is so smart because Spider-Man Homecoming like does that like thing of like, oh yeah, we're just gonna start in the middle, but like the story, the core of Spider-Man, which is he always tries to help, like he's always like he believe even in the bad guys, like it, and this is something that's established in the previous movies, like that's something that the movie stuck true to and almost kind of like held down fast, held down hard on, and that's why that's why Peter gets like so easily manipulated because he's more focused on like your redemption than you are, right? So in the first one, he ends up saving, Falcon from himself. Like Falcon would have, did I say, is it right? No, the Vulture. It's the Vulture. The Vulture keeps, is so obsessed with like, his scheme that he doesn't think that he's going to die. Like his equipment's not working or whatever. So, and in the second one, he's so trying to help Mysterio. He feels sorry for this guy who like comes from this other universe, is a refugee here, is the only one of his kind, lost his whole planet Earth, like whatever, he gets suckered into all that, and then he like, is disappointed by that. And then in this one, of course, you have kind of like the Doctor Strange thing, but it's a little different. He's not necessarily like being manipulated, but I thought it was interesting because Doctor Strange kind of does it because he cares about him, right, Braxton? Don't you think? Like that like end scene on the Statue of Liberty, he's just like, he's sad that like, okay, so okay, sorry, where I was going with this is, so the story is that in the last Spider-Man, Mysterio set it up so that when he died or whatever would happen if he lost, he basically manipulated and sent out footage revealing that Spider-Man was Peter Parker to the whole world.
Okay.
So unlike the other Marvel MCU characters, like Spider-Man has always been anonymous, right? Like, no one knows what his real identity is. But now everybody knows. And it's rough on him and his friends because, for example, they had all applied to MIT, the three kids, him, MJ, and Ned. And because he's Spider-Man and because of all the controversy surrounding him, MIT's like, y'all are too controversial. Sorry, you can't come to our school. So none of them, the three of them, don't get in because they're like super associated with each other. And then another thing that happens, as a result of that is that, the media is constantly like hounding them. Actually, it was an interesting commentary on fame in general. Like I wondered what Tom Holland and Zendaya and the actor who plays Ned were thinking of those scenes, because that kind of happened to them. They're like, Spider-Man is one of the more popular, with the set of audience that would go crazy and follow you around from like the Beatles, like how the fans, the younger girls and the younger fans in general just like followed the Beatles around from hotel to hotel. And Tom Holland kind of lives that life, like especially when there's a new Spider-Man movie and everyone remembers like how much they love these movies, like it's crazy for him. But his life is just crazy like that all the time, and so is Zendaya, and so is a lot of folks like that are that famous. And so it kind of like plays on that a little bit. So he wishes he could just reverse the whole thing and like somehow make people forget that he's Spider-Man. So he thinks he gets this bright idea from looking at this like Halloween decoration, I guess, and he thinks, oh, let me go ask Doctor Strange. We were buddies. Like, we both disappeared in the blip. Like, we were on that mission to stop Thanos. So he goes and he goes to Doctor Strange and pleads with him. And I agree with Braxton that it is a little bit of a irresponsible decision that Doctor Strange and even Wong, the other
Wait, I'm
wizard,
sorry. Spider-Man pleads with Doctor Strange
to make everyone forget that
forget that that Peter
Spider-Man
Parker is Spider-Man.
is Spider-Man, exactly.
Okay.
And at first he's like, I don't know about this, but then he kind of agrees to do it. And this other character, Wong, is like, nah, I don't want to know about this. This is too weird. This kind of magic could mess things up. So he leaves. And then Doctor Strange is like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And he casts a spell. But in the middle of the spell, Peter's like, oh no, wait, but I want MJ to, he's just a kid, right? So he's like, I want all these people to remember. And it like corrupts the spell as it's being cast. And so Doctor Strange has to stop the spell and contain it because it got out of control and it was too wild. But a little bit of it still started working, and all of a sudden some folks got plucked out of other timelines or universes and brought here. And the people that get plucked out of those timelines are, and this is great, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, are the Green Goblin, played by Willem Dafoe, reprising his role. Doc Ock, played by Alfred Molina, reprising his role. Electro, played by Jamie Foxx, reprising his role. Sandman, I can't remember the name of the actor, but he comes back. And who am I missing? Am I missing anyone? Oh, yeah, the Lizard. Sorry, I always forget about the Lizard. And the Lizard. So you get, like, all these, like, famous villains from the previous movies. And the movie does, I think, a good job, Braxton. I don't know if you agree with this, but of, like, making you wonder, well, okay, we got these villains, but are we going to get the other Spideys? Like, how are we going to get... Like, I was so, like... I was like, we're not going to get them. They're not going to put them in here. Like, it's true. It was all, like, rumors, and they're not in it. But then at the same time, I'm very hopeful that they would. So what ends up happening is that...
Do people really have doubt?
No, I know.
Like, that was, like, the worst kept secret in fucking... centuries.
It was like one of those things, like, no, but it's one of those things, like, where you're like, well, maybe they will subvert everyone's expectations and not do it, I don't know. But anyways, so we get all these moments of him, and again, like, he realizes that, and this is really neat and interesting, like, all of these villains, what they have in common, all of these people, what they have in common is they died at the hands of Spider-Man, right? Like, even though we know from watching those other movies that he tried everything he could to, like, save them and help them, like, it was just out of his control. Like, the Green Goblin, gets impaled by his own wing device. The
glider,
yeah, the glider. Thank you. Electro, like. He gets what happened to Electro? He went into water. Well, anyways, he gets dispatched.
He read the script. And was like,
he read the script.
I'm getting the fuck out of this movie.
By the way, anyways, whatever. Anyways, the point is like Spidey starts to, like, see that, like, maybe if these people were all changed somehow, and that's how they became, like, these, like, villains, right? Like, so he starts to, like, figure out ways to, like, help them or cure them, and he doesn't succeed because, of course, there's always going to be one person who's going to be, like, truly bad or whatever. He does manage to help Doc Ock. He replaces the faulty chip on his arm controllers, and he's able, so that Octavius is able to get back to his senses and not be controlled by the AI. He has a plan to cure Electro. He thinks of, he doesn't know how to cure the Sandman guy, but he also figures out that, like, he's helping what's his face, Osborn, Willem Dafoe's character, is trying to, like, come up with a way to cure himself, pretending to anyways. But anyways, he almost has it. Like, we have this one glorious moment where he, like, saves Doc Ock and it's all good. But then
Thomas Hayden, that's his name, the guy who plays Sandman.
Thank you, Thomas Hayden. We have this one glorious moment, and then, of course, the Green Goblin was just hiding in plain sight and comes out and ruins everything, and then these sinister five, so to speak, are on the loose in the city in New York, and now he can't do anything, and it's all very hopeless. But then his friends MJ and Ned are sitting there, trying to keep this box safe that would send everyone home. uh if you pressed it, like the spell would simply send everyone back to their point of origin. And all of a sudden we discover Ned can do magic, and so MJ's like, just think of Peter and like it'll open a portal to him. So he's thinking hard about Peter Parker, and the first portal he opens, this guy in a Spider-Man suit comes through, and it's Andrew Garfield. And everyone, my mom who went with us to the theater, she started clapping. I think that's the sexy one she called him. And then and then he's like, okay, so whatever, they have a cute moment with him. And then she's like, okay, try again. So they open another one, and in walks Tobey Maguire, and he's like in the mix too. And then they all go together and they go and help Peter, but they go and they try to help Peter, but sadly, unfortunately, when Peter's trying to fight the Green Goblin and stop him, he ends up killing Aunt May. And by the way, she goes out like a badass when she grabbed that like tool or whatever it was, and she was ready to like kick some, she was ready to like pound that guy's head in to protect Peter. And so Aunt May dies, which was pretty awesome because, again, talking about subverting expectations, like Peter hadn't had a loss on screen like the other ones had. We all saw Uncle Ben die in the other versions of Spider-Man. We never saw Peter go through that same loss. We saw him go through it with like Iron Man, who was kind of his like mentor or role model, but not like his family. And so this scene was like heartbreaking for me. I know Braxton's gonna have something to say about all the crying, but this scene was heartbreaking to me. And what was glorious about it, and this was one of the critiques where people were like, well, I know it's cheesy, but why can't they say the absolute power, great responsibility line? And she says it to him as she's dying, which kind of, it was like cool to hear Aunt May say that line for a change. And I know you're sighing, but it's done brilliantly.
It's for my game, I swear.
Oh yeah, right, whatever. But it's done brilliantly in the film, and I thought it was just like such a cool moment. And then later on, when he meets up with the other Spider-Men, they have a moment where they all connect on that. And I just love that this Spider-Man is its own thing in a way. It like does a lot of things that are very familiar, but it also does all these other things. Anyways, the rest of the film is like a spectacular fight. Where like it goes on, like Braxton said, like for 30
No way,
minutes.
it ends in like a 20-minute CG fight. No fucking way.
But it's not over the top. It's
that
great.
never happens in movies.
It's not the formula. That's not the formula, right? But it was it was so awesome. Anyways, yeah. So like they get this like spectacular fight. We get a lot of cute moments. We get a lot of great moments between Toby and Andrew and Tom. And then the solution ends up being that Doctor Strange has to cast the forgetfulness spell anyways, and so he does that, and everyone forgets who.
So to save the day, they have to cast the spell that caused all the chaos to begin with.
Right, but to make because everyone's drawn to the spell that was broken. Was broken because everyone everywhere who's drawn to Spider-Man, who should know, quote unquote, who Spider-Man is trying to come through from all the different dimensions. So it was going to get out of control. So he had to make everyone everywhere across the multiverse forget who Peter Parker was. So now at the end of this, it's kind of like Peter gets a fresh start in a weird way. Like it's going to be him by himself. No one knows. And there's this really heartbreaking, touching scene which is kind of stolen from Doctor Who a little bit. But anyways, like Peter walks in and he sees Ned and MJ, and he had rehearsed this whole thing where he was going to like tell MJ, like, cause they had this like cute moment before the forgetting happened where he was like, I'll find you, I'll tell you everything. And she's like, I'll figure it out again. Like it was a very cute little moment. And then MJ doesn't remember him genuinely. And Peter just kind of lets her not remember him.
Can't he just tell her?
Yeah, but he can't. Like he decides not to.
Hey, I'm Spider-Man.
She'll be like,
I cast the spell so everybody else forgets. Don't tell anyone.
he was gonna do that, but he decides not to, and I thought that was like terribly like sad and romantic in a weird way. Anyways, and then the movie ends at Christmas time, so it's a Christmas movie, and that's it. That's my synopsis for Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home.
The only thing that you excluded is that they introduced Matt Murdock as his voice.
Oh yes, yeah. A lot of fans. I haven't watched the Daredevil TV show, but now I gotta watch it.
Is
So
it
do
the
you got?
same actor?
It's the same
Yeah.
actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And he does a thing. He doesn't like do a real Daredevil scene, but he does a thing.
That
And
was a really cool scene, and yeah, he like that was a really great moment.
he's like,
I
how'd you
I
do
was
that?
so happy about that for fans of Daredevil because everyone was
Yeah.
really hoping for a cameo from that actor specifically. So this proves that that is the MCU Daredevil
Mm-hmm.
that'll be on screen, and a lot of people are really excited about that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Wait, so how many seasons of Daredevil are there?
3.
Okay, I can probably. And it's like 10 episode seasons.
Mm-hmm. Dude, Daredevil is gritty and intense, and
That's
it is
on Netflix,
so
right?
good. Yes.
It's on Netflix. I didn't even, I didn't even see the Ben Affleck, right? Ben Affleck played Daredevil, right?
Who wanted to see that trash?
In the movie, yeah, the original movie, yeah.
I don't blame you, Starfleet boy.
But yeah, this kind of changes a lot because it's interesting. Oh, and we had two post-credit scenes. One was just meant for laughs, which is they had Tom Hardy's Venom apparently also got sucked into this universe, but was hanging out at a tiki bar the whole time, and that was kind of funny. And then he gets zapped back to his own universe, and they dropped a little piece of the symbiote stayed behind on the bar table, and it's there. So now they've just kind of like dropped a little introduction of Venom. I thought it was a clever thing because Braxton, the whole thing about Sony owning the rights to Spider-Man, and then the MCU had to like somehow they had to
License him.
borrow the rights to have
Mm-hmm.
him. So this was the fully Sony movie. So
Mhm.
it's interesting because it is really interesting because I always thought that was a funny play with the names. Like Spider-Man Homecoming was like it coming home to the MCU, like Spider-Man coming home to the MCU, right?
Mm.
And then Spider-Man Far From Home, obviously, like that's because it was in Italy or
Europe.
whatever,
Mhm.
yeah, in Europe. But then in this movie, Spider-Way No Way Home, it's kind of interesting because it's true. Like Spider-Man's not coming back to the MCU, like to Marvel. It'll be a part of the MCU, interestingly, but it's gonna stay with Sony from now on. And so Sony's gonna make these movies. And I thought they did a really good job of staying true to what the MCU had started and created, but also introducing all of the Sony-based Spider-Man stuff. This was like the film. This was the one film to rule them all. It was like the One Ring of Spider-Man movies because Spider-Man's had this like complicated history with three different actors, three different movies, and what they did in this movie, I thought cleverly, was tie those three in and make it one thing. Like it's now like in my mind, this like connects all of it together like in a really good way because you also get like the version of Toby Spidey of Peter is older, so you get like a little backstory and he says things worked out with MJ, so you kind of get a wrap up to what was happening, like if those movies had gone on, like if Spidey had grown older in those movies and we'd seen him get married to MJ and all that good stuff. And then the other thing that it cleverly does is the other thing that it like I thought was cool was the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man follow-up, which is sad that he hasn't found anyone at all, and he's kind of the lonely Spider-Man. But Braxton and Ruben, you can feel free to speculate too. Do you think this movie means we'll get another, like we could get more Andrew Garfield and more Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans? Like, do you think that like we get more like other sequels, like just following those storylines?
No, I seriously, I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I think it is it's a possibility. Especially if Tom Holland doesn't come back for come back to be Spider-Man again, and they need to take a new direction. I think it would be really interesting rather than casting a new Spider-Man and seeing his young adventures. It would be interesting to see like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man again. It would be interesting to see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man again. It would also be interesting to see Miles Morales Spider-Man.
A
I
hundred
would
percent, yeah.
I would prefer actually not to see Tom Holland Spider-Man again. I would love to see Miles Morales Spider-Man next
Word on the
in 3 years.
word on the street is that he did sign up for 3 more pictures, so we're gonna see him for at
Yeah,
least
I
three.
thought Tom Holland had signed already
I
for
thought
more.
those were only rumors, and that wasn't actually true.
I'd
You
have to
know,
look at. Yeah, I haven't like bothered to look it up, but I
mhm.
that's I heard
Like
that.
Amy Pascal said that, but I believed that had been debunked. Like Sony, the other executives at Sony said that that wasn't true, and I don't believe that and Tom Holland didn't say anything about it either. Like
Gotcha.
I thought that wasn't true. Yeah.
Well, based on the early box office receipts, it could. I'm sure they're gonna offer him a little harder to come back to do another one. I think it'd be cool if he does come back, but I also would be very happy to see Miles Morales live action. Like that would be a really cool thing. Although we are getting another for sure animated Miles Morales film. What is it called? Someone already they already released the title of it.
Oh, the next Into the Spider Verse
Into
movie.
the Spider Verse movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
this movie does like spiritually like copy a little bit like the um I feel like the Into the Spider Verse like paved the way for this movie to happen successfully.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that
Mm-hmm.
the team up happened, and like the introduction, like and stuff like that. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't do so they didn't have such a like Peter wasn't as weirded out because he's already had an experience with the multiverse and like and like these characters have already kind of like I think that like maybe Toby and Andrew could have been a little bit more weirded out by it, but they are like I think they acted appropriately for like being freaked out. One of the moments in the film that I thought was like really powerful went to the Andrew Garfield character. Braxton, do you remember in his movies he lost Gwen Stacy, like she
Mm-hmm. He
died
like
because
broke her back.
her
Yeah.
back cracked, and I'm getting a little choked up just thinking about it because that's like one of the heartbreaking things about that movie is just like the way it was done. It was like it's like one of those like no, like that didn't just happen, right?
But he had a chance to save
And
Michelle Jones.
he
Mm-hmm.
saves MJ in this like so she's falling down. Say it's almost like shot for shot like a recreation of that moment, like almost it's a little different setting or whatever. But she's falling down, and of course Tom Holland like lunges after her, but then he gets like scooped up by the Green Goblin, and Andrew Garfield's Spidey is like, oh hell no, this is not happening again, and he dives with all his heart and he like saves her, and this time he like lands in such a way where he knows like from his previous experience that if he tries to catch her with the web that she'll likely break her back too, so he catches her and cradles her
Mm-hmm.
and lands like solid, and like it was just such a beautiful moment, and like everyone in the theater like you could tell was like just so pleased who'd seen the Andrew Garfield films, and that's what I'm talking about. Like this movie, that those last that those last scenes were so rewarding because the action was also playing on like story moments from other like there was things that
Mm-hmm.
were paying off like in big ways. And then like you know Toby Maguire's Spider-Man like was like the older one of the three, and he was like a more mature and wise kind of Spider-Man, and like he was more. I like that one of the things that like about his Spider-Man was like his like kind of like sweetness, how sweet he was and optimistic, and you could see that like they matured that into like a more he's still optimistic, but he's also very nurturing, like almost like he's a father. Like, he had like that father vibe, like a daddy Spider-Man vibe or whatever. Um, and he and he was totally like all about curing these guys, and like he had failed with Osborn, and this was his second chance to do it. Of course, our Green Goblin's such a bitch and like stabbed him, and stuff like that, and so like whatever. But anyways, Toby's Spider-Man is all about curing, and he helps Tom Holland heal and everything. Hey, Matthew Pate, welcome to the stream. What did you think about Spider-Way No Way Home? And also, I agree, we need another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film. I like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. They're really good. He was a different kind of Spider-Man, but yeah. What did you think of some of that stuff, Braxton?
Yeah, so for instance, uh, so I saw all the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. I think the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans, I think I probably saw them on TV years after they aired, but I definitely have not seen the one with Electro in it.
Oh, that's the one where that happens. I highly recommend seeing it, because now this scene with the MJ will pay off a little bit like more if you see it.
So, like I said earlier, like I think that you can age out Spider-Man. I think that is what I have felt about the latest three movies. Though I really, really, really enjoyed Spider-Man: Homecoming. Uh, I you're giving me a little bit of appreciation for the movies and how they're tying them together. But when I think of the last two Spider-Man movies and the things, and I felt like they just didn't get me off to a great start, because I was like, oh, like it seems like Nick Fury would never, give that kid like these powerful devices so he can just fuck everything up. And then in the third movie, like it was like, ooh, like it seems like Doctor Strange wouldn't enable this boy like this, like to to just fuck up like everything. Like why would he like be casting these really powerful spells like just so this
willy-nilly
boy could like get back to anonymity? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You are not using your powers wisely when you are doing that, and then chaos ensues because of people adults enabling Spider-Man to make really, really poor decisions. And I also
that's so funny. I didn't really think about this. It's like it's so true.
So I saw this tweet, and this dude was like, "Oh, like me looking at like 80% of the Spider-Man movie," and it was like this dude in a Spider-Man costume in a bathtub, like rocking himself and crying. And I was like, you know what? This movie was so like sappy and dramatic. I was like, people had tears in their eyes.
I did. I cried a lot in this
60% of the movie, And I was like, you know what? And like the Green Goblin, like, he told you, he was like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, like, like I may have killed her, but like you're really the one who killed her through like your like horrible decision making.
That's true. He does say that too.
And I was like, you know what? I was like, it's all true. Oh, true.
Braxton, my mom turned to both my sister and I, because we were crying so much in the movie. Like I could hear my sister sobbing and she could hear me sobbing, and my mom, she turns and she like goes to both of us, it's only a movie. Are you guys okay? Because she hasn't seen us like bawl so much at a movie. Matthew says it was great. The theater was packed last night, almost sold out, based off looking around. The whole everyone forgetting Peter was a little strange, since he was becoming a leader after Stark's death. Yeah, like I don't understand quite how the forgetting is gonna work, because like does that mean, because it seems like the spell does more than just like make people forget who you are, because it almost seems like they don't know you, in the sense that like you didn't exist in their lives, because like MJ doesn't just not remember, but she doesn't remember like who, like she doesn't, it's not just like not remembering who Spider-Man was, but also she seems to have forgotten Peter. So I wonder if they're going to explain. It seems to me from the post-credit sequence that whatever Doctor Strange did in this movie messed something bigger up, and now there's going to be more repercussions about it in the Doctor Strange and the multiverse movie. So I don't know, but I do agree that Doctor Strange was a little off. Like I didn't quite trust him. I was thinking he was going to be this other character named Mephisto, disguised as Doctor Strange, because I think that's happened in the comics.
And and to me, the Spider-Man anonymity, or anonymity, like does not feel very doesn't feel very modern. Because like we're in the age of like influencers. We're in the age of like where people vlog and like video and post Instagram stories about like everything they do from like the time that they get up to like when they go to bed. Like everyone has cameras, like they're part of our lives, and we have less privacy than what we used to. I mean, there are like kids who have like cameras like following them in school and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like it would be a very modern thing to have just everyone know who the identity of Peter Parker is, So I think that sometimes when a story gets off to like makes like poor choices that seem unrealistic, like I have a difficult time with them. Like I think that I had a difficult time with Far From Home because I was like, Nick Fury would never entrust Spider-Man with this kind of stuff, so he could.
But it wasn't Nick Fury. It was the, it was the.
But it was a Skrull.
A Skrull,
who was
yeah.
probably taking directions from.
But do you remember how? Do you remember how he was like, this didn't go like what Nick Fury thought it was gonna go. Like, should we tell him that, like what's going on? And like, there's this whole thing of like, you're right. Like the real Nick Fury would have put that shit like to bed like real fast. Like it would have been like, so that's the reason I doubted. Also, I agree with you on that, by the way, because that's another reason I doubted that Doctor Strange was Doctor Strange. He was strange. He was acting strange for Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? Like a couple of impressive things that I thought the movie did well with the Doctor Strange fight sequence. So Peter has like so Doctor Strange is about to send all these guys, these sinister guys, back to their respective universes or whatever, and he's casting a reversal on the spell, right? And Peter has a change of heart and he grabs the spell. It's enclosed in this like spell box, right? And he grabs the spell to try to stop him from Doctor Strange from doing it. And Doctor Strange did the weird thing that he does where he separates you from your body. Like he's able to separate your soul from your body, like if you're fighting with him. Do you know what I'm talking about, Ruben? Like how
like the astral projection.
The astral projection thing. So he does that to Peter, and the body of Peter continues to like react because it's pure Spidey sense at that point. So Strange can't grab the box because the avatar, like even without a soul inside, like the body of Spidey, like Spidey's actual body is just like a reaction machine. Like it was really cool to illustrate that the Spidey sense is a part of his physiology and his nervous system and like his functions that are not necessarily part of his consciousness or his like, and I just thought that was
involuntary.
Like it's involuntary. And I thought that was a brilliant way to illustrate that and show the Spidey sense in a way that has never been shown before. I thought that was like one of the most like cool scenes. And the other thing is that Spider-Man is this again, like, Doctor Strange, a pretty formidable character, and Spidey's able to defeat him using the power of math. And I just thought that was like a little silly, but it was also funny. And, again, I don't know how I see what you mean, Braxton, about like kind of not like, being responsible, but I think the movie kind of, those would probably be a little, like those would be questionable plot points, I would say, like, or just convenience, like moments of convenience. But overall, it didn't bother me because like I was just having so much fun, I think, with it. But Matthew also says, it almost leaves everyone hanging like Infinity War's ending did. Yeah, there's like this like uncertainty at the end of the movie of like what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
Um, it is kind of a sad thing. It's very interesting. I'm curious where they'll go next with Spider-Man. I guess what purpose does Tom serve in the MCU since he basically has no connection to the Avengers and everyone? Maybe he will just be in Sonyverse. What's the chances Strange was actually a variant? Ah,
Hmm?
well, we get a little hint of that, Matthew, in the post-credit sequence because
Mhm.
we see we
Evil
see a
Doctor
couple,
Strange.
yeah, and we see what's his face from Loki, Kang,
Hiddleston. Oh,
right? Didn't they show Kang in the trailer?
Did they? I don't remember seeing Kang, dude. Like we saw Evil Doctor Strange. I don't remember seeing Kang.
is
But
the
I could have
trailer the
sworn.
trailer for what?
So the end credit sequence is a trailer or like a sneak peek at the new Doctor Strange movie, Doctor Strange and
Mouth of
the
Madness.
yeah,
Multiverse
the
of Madness.
multiverse of madness. But I could have sworn Kang is the one who says, "Meet my greatest enemy. It's you." And then we get the evil Doctor Strange, and he's like, "Things kind of got out of control." Isn't that him who says it? Did I make it?
Hmm.
Did I see him in the trailer? I could have sworn I saw him in the trailer.
I didn't see him, and I don't really recognize Jonathan Major's voice yet.
Yeah, I gotta like now. I have to go see Spider-Man: No Way Home just to see the end credit sequence to see if I was right. But that's gonna be an interesting movie. I wonder if they're gonna tie. They're definitely tying into WandaVision,
Mhm.
so I thought maybe it would make sense that that's what Loki was leading into as well,
Mhm.
because it would have to do with the multiverse and Kang. So I could have sworn I saw him in there. Matthew, if you're still on the stream listening, was that Kang at the end? In the did you stay through to the post credit sequence, and did you check out Scope if that was Kang at the end? We got a couple of other interesting things like this whole time Zendaya's character MJ. We've always been wondering is she Mary Jane, but we find out she's actually Michelle Jones.
Michelle Jones. Yeah.
Michelle Jones Watson, so she's a totally different character.
Hmm.
Um, so it's the movie sets up this interesting thing. So like it does place. Why are you laughing?
No, no reason. Don't worry about it.
You wanted it to be Mary Jane
I don't. What? Why? What's the point?
because she's not
Michelle
Mary
Jones,
Jane.
Marry Jane's. Who?
She's not Mary Jane. I mean,
She's
she
very
just
not Mary Jane. It's cool. I like it.
yeah. I like it too.
Um, what was I gonna say? Um, the scene where Ned like is talking to Toby Maguire. He's like, so did you have like a guy in your do you have like a guy like a best friend in your universe? And Toby's like, yeah, he like totally I killed his father and he totally got angry and betrayed me and tried to kill me.
And they died in my
And
arms.
then he died in my arms. And it's very sad. And Ned's like all paranoid after that. He's all like, he's all like, he's like completely like freaked out by the idea that he might die in Peter's arms if the fates are the same and stuff. Like that was really funny.
He's like, oh yeah, like I'm not gonna like, betray you and then try to kill you. Like, mm-hmm.
Did you all catch the potential Miles Morales references by Electro? No, clue us in on that. I didn't catch it. Did you catch it, Braxton?
So yeah, because he was like, so Jimmy Fox, like, or Jimmy Fox, Electro came back, and then he was like, oh, like here you are, like, you're like doing something, like trying to help people or something. You're like this like new Spider-Man. Like, oh, I thought you'd be black. Hmm.
Oh
It was
yeah.
like
Oh, that's
early.
cool.
I think it
And
may have
then
even been like I feel like it was when they had him like imprisoned.
interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, I do remember that scene, but I felt like he knew Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, so that's interesting. I wonder. He did say he was like in some kind of computer or something was happening, so it was different from the adventure. Oh yeah, because what happens to him in Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 2, is that he he like gets overloaded or something by all the electricity. I forget, it was something like that, and then Harry comes, and then that's who was responsible
And Spider-Man 2, doesn't
for
he
Gwen.
fall into like a vat of like electric eels or something stupid like
Mhm.
that?
That's how he
Yeah.
becomes Electro.
Oh,
Yeah, and they reference that in this movie.
A few
And
times.
they say something because he's like, "How'd you become like yourself?" And he's like, fell into a vat of eels." And then the Sandman's like, "I fell into like a particle collider or something like that." And
Mhm.
he's like, "Man, you got to be careful where you fall." It's so true. I would want, of course, Peter Parker's abilities, but I would settle for Electro or Sandman's abilities. They all have like cool abilities. I heard Matthew says I heard another show discuss that Toby and Defoe really didn't have a discussion, maybe a scheduling issue when filming. Yeah, it is interesting. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, they didn't really have like a moment together. I
Mhm.
know that COVID has affected like how things are filmed and stuff like that, and we've seen,
Mhm.
if you have a really keen eye, you can tell that some people are not in the same, scene together, although they're doing a lot better with movies nowadays. Like, it is impressive that Tig Notaro is in the zombie,
Discovery.
yeah, in that zombie movie, and also Discovery. Apparently she might not be in some of these scenes with folks, and so it kind of like they're doing a lot better job of editing. But yeah, I did get the vibe that sometimes they weren't all in the same place. uh what did you think, Ruben? So like Toby's Spider-Man is like super sweet and kind of like a happy-go-lucky Spider-Man until he's not. What did you think of Andrew's like Garfield's Spider-Man's like tone? He's more like the loner, the insecure kind of Spidey, like a more of an introvert Spidey, I think, right? Oh, Ruben's not listening to.
Is he like
I was
emo
trying to
Spider?
include him, but
no,
what's that?
I was like, wait, you're asking me that? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen the movie. I don't know.
No, I'm saying. Oh, you never saw Andrew Garfield Spider Man?
Oh yeah, I saw Andrew Garfield's
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
but you remember how he's like a little more quirky and a little more. He's a little more like, fidgety, and like he was a different Spider Man from the Tobey Maguire,
Right, right.
like wholesome kind of happy go lucky, type of vibe that we start seeing him in. And I like that they also like made mention of that, because his Spider-Man is like the one who's still alone, and then he, in this one scene, he like calls himself a loser. And
Mhm.
like Toby has to be like, no, no, man, you're amazing, say it, I want you to say it, you're amazing, which is funny because his movies are called The Amazing Spider-Man. Like,
Mhm.
so I just thought that was really funny.
Oh, here he can't see my face of disdain.
Mhm.
Ruben's our for Matthew, who's new here. Ruben's our resident gamer. He also doesn't watch half the movies we talk about, but it's fun to like it's fun to like spoil them for him. So
It's interesting. Like I feel like the life of a superhero, many times has to be a lonely one because you put people in so much danger and so much jeopardy. You know, like damn, dude. Like, I mean, okay, I understand. Like, Mary Jane, like, MJ, she's like having fun, like hanging out, having these adventures. But dude, like, he's like putting you through real fucking scary stuff, putting your life at risk. It's like, you know what, dude? Like, man, I never want to see this fucking dude again. Like, this
but
dude's gonna fucking get me killed.
some people are excited by that. Like, I find it like, I find it too dangerous for me too. I would be like, deuces, sorry Peter, like this is too dangerous. Maybe a, like a once in a while fling, but I don't know. No, I mean, I see what you're saying, but she's in it for the long haul, Brax, and she loves them. She
Mhm.
wants she wants that Peter Parker.
So Zendaya is a draw for me. Um, I
Me
like
too.
her as an actress and a person. I think that she's a beautiful young actress, and I like to see her. So one of the reasons why I went out to see this movie, except I mean, I wanted to be current, so I wanted to see it like right away. But then I do like Zendaya. She is a draw for me.
Yeah, she's fantastic in just about everything. Well, actually everything I've ever seen her in. I haven't seen everything, but also I thought the romance between them was very good because it felt like they really like. I think they're a real couple in real life. I mean, not think.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Like
Yeah,
it's
they are.
public about and so it came across as pretty real. Matthew wants to know, where do y'all rank this film in the MCU, and do you think we will see Andrew and or Toby again? I hope we see Andrew and Toby again. I think this might just be like a thing that happens in this movie and then it doesn't happen again. But I would like to see them again, but I think it would might be too much fan service. And then as far as ranking it in the MCU, I'd have to think about it because there's so many good movies in the overall MCU. Like I do think it's high up there though. I would probably definitely put it in my top 5 or top 10. What about you, Braxton?
So I mean, I kind of don't really want to dive into that because that's a lot, and
Yeah,
there's a lot
so
of
many
MC.
movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
But I did not enjoy this movie as much as I enjoyed Shang-Chi and Black Widow. So, you know, I don't think that it would be in the top for me. But like I said, I think that you can age out of this movie. I think out of these type movies, you know, like I said, my audience when I went to see like Shang-Chi and Black Widow was a more mature audience, whereas this was a lot of teenagers and people in their very young 20s. So for me, this is not one of my top Marvel movies because I identify less with it, and I have some big problems with like its premise. You know, I did think the action in the last 30 minutes was great. I also don't enjoy really over sentimental types of like media, like all the crying, it was just too much. People had tears in their eyes all the time. It was just too much. So I did not like those things about it. So it would, I mean, for me, like it's not probably even in my top 10 Marvel films. And I would love to see Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire again. I would love
yeah,
to see him. Yeah.
yeah, I agree. Shang-Chi, Matthew says Shang-Chi was a great film. I loved it. The comedy was on point. I would love to see a film with Peter, Ned, and MJ with Shang-Chi would be funny too. That would be interesting if they become like we've been saying Shang-Chi, but I've been saying Shang-Chi, but it's Shang-Chi. So it would be funny if they got like mixed up with that crew and like became their like pals, and
Hmm.
then poor Peter Parker has to like sit on the like sit quietly. Like it'd be funny if MJ starts dating Shang-Chi. It would be really funny. Um, MJ's here. Yay, look at that. Speaking of MJ, when when we see Andrew and Toby next time, it's got to be Secret Invasion or Secret Wars. Is that like from the comic books? Do y'all know anything about Secret Invasion or Secret Wars?
Hmm.
What about Secret Wars?
What is that? What's Secret Invasion or Secret Wars?
Scrolls.
Scrolls. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, those are the movies. There's movies coming out, right? Like or
Hmm.
a show coming out with the Scrolls and Secret Invasion. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
they're already here.
Yeah, but they were doing
Hmm.
Invasion.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, I don't.
Secret Wars was when Spider-Man got the symbiote, uh, got the symbiote originally,
So the
and was
symbiote
the
is here.
black suit Spider-Man for a while.
Mm.
But it started
Symbiote
to
is here.
turn. It started to corrupt him, and then he got the Fantastic Four help him take it off, and
Hmm.
then that's when it attaches to Eddie Brock and becomes Venom.
Mm.
That's where it happens. One of the things that happens in Secret Wars.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
And then
Mm.
Secret Invasion is the
It's the
Scrolls.
Scrolls,
Oh, okay.
which they've seemed to have already been doing anyway.
Mm.
Yeah. Um one other thing I liked in this movie is that a lot of folks I like that he put on his I like well, there's a couple things. One, he puts on his regular uniform,
Mhm.
which is cool because it's like not fancy, it's not Iron Man. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't have any of the iron tech on it, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? So like I like that he did that cuz that's been a big complaint, especially Father, he calls him Iron Man Jr.
Mhm.
And then at the end, he sews a new version of his costume that looks spectacular. Like they like revealed that. What did you think of that? Like at the end, the new costume with the shiny blue, the sexy shiny blue, and the red. It has the pattern, like the traditional pattern from the comic books, pretty much.
So now that you say that, I don't really care about it. But
Okay.
the thing that I do care about was the Iron Spider suit.
You
Dude,
love that suit, huh?
that Iron Spider suit was amazing. Like he was like fighting Doc Ock in that
Oh,
kind of opening
is
scene,
that when he
dude.
has the spider legs and all that
Yeah,
shit?
and the
Yeah,
legs
yeah.
came out, dude. And man, it was like Spider-Man on a whole nother level.
That's true.
That
That was very.
was amazing.
Let's talk about that scene for a second, because that was a great. The movie like jumps into the action, and then it doesn't seem to stop. Like it's almost like
Mhm.
there's a lot of like.
It doesn't seem to stop except for when the people are crying.
Braxton does not tolerate crying. Remind me in Chicago, I cannot become a messy drunk and start crying around Braxton because he'll leave me. He'll just be, I have no time for this. I'm sorry. Bye bye.
This boy started crying.
Starfleet boy started crying. He was sentimental, and I did not have time for that. I walked out of there. I left him with Trek on the tube, and I left. I was like, goodbye. No, I'm just kidding. I don't get like that. Well, I do, but not. It's very rare.
Dr. Octavius is my secret MVP of the
Yeah,
film.
of the film. Yes, he
Mhm.
was so great. Alfred Molina, shout out.
I
Who
love
looked great in the movie. He almost looked like himself from the Toby films. He looked
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And Willem Dafoe too. I don't know what they're doing. They must have been doing something to
all
their
that
face.
plastic surgery. Dude.
Is it-
Willem Dafoe looked like he was wearing a mask.
And I have to say, I wish Jamie Foxx looked like this in when he was originally. You haven't seen that movie, but they make him look like a nerd, like it was weird with
It's
the
terrible.
like space in his teeth and
Mm-hmm.
all this weird stuff, and like
The space in his teeth that gets fixed when he gains his powers.
that gets fixed when he gains his
So
powers.
bizarre.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked his look in this. He looked like what I wish Electro had looked at. And ironically, shout out to the music. I think it's Michael Giacchino. Not ironically, but but one of the other nice touches about the film was when Electro has the weirdest theme song. Father does a good impression of it, but like James Horner, not James Horner. It was sorry, the second movie was a different composer. It was he did Dune. What's his name? I can't remember his name right now. Zimmerman, Hans Zimmerman. Hans Zimmerman does the theme from the second movie, and Electro, when he does his electric light, like lightning stuff, you hear this like voiceover going, "I hate Spider-Man," blah blah blah, and he's like talking, and like you hear that same kind of music and that same kind of like whispering a little bit, like in the music, like if it's his character's like interior monologue. And I was so chuffed about that. I was trying to listen when Andrew Garfield appeared, because the James Horner theme is one of my favorite ones, like dun 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 dun. I like that Spider-Man theme a lot, and but I don't think they did it very much in the movie, but yeah, it was cool that the music also did like homages to the different characters.
Mm-hmm.
We have another comment from Matthew. Thanks for Matthew, MJ, and Blue, who's a little silent. Thanks for joining in the discussion. We do love comments. I seriously forgot about Toby and Andrew for a minute because the story drew me in. Everyone started cheering when Ned did the portal. It's true. Then I saw they were actually cheering for Andrew. LOL. That was like a multi-cheer moment.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange was impressed that Ned could just like do this. Like, I think it's interesting. What do you think they're gonna do with this? Like, is he gonna go to Comertage and become a wizard? Do you think? Like, what do you think is gonna happen?
Dude, he might have some inherent ability to do magic.
Oh shit! I just realized if he forgot the whole adventure, he forgot that he did that on the fly, right? Oh shit! So Ned's back to square one too on that. That sucks.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, totally.
Interesting. What else can we say about Spider-Man?
I think that Spider-Man was fun. Someone described Spider-Man as being fun. Um,
And it definitely was. I agree.
Especially those last 30 minutes. It was absolutely fantastic to see the three Spider-Men fighting together. But I find, the first 2 hours of the movie problematic, and it was hard for me to get into. But then the last 30 minutes saved the whole movie for me. Like for me, like Spider-Man is fresh, but I would only give Spider-Man a 7 out of 10. Like I would
That's
give
high. I think that's great. It's a good. That's more than average. I think that's good. Sorry.
like I would give that's okay. I would give the first half of it a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, like now we're the segments. Okay, I like
And well, I'm
that.
sorry, the first 2 hours of it, 5.5. Oh well, you know what? But no, but then there's that real good fight scene with the Iron Spider
Yeah,
suit.
and Doctor Octo. Oh, we were talking about that scene. I thought that was interesting. When were you fooled by the his like when his hand grabbed the iron nanotechnology and it became part of his thing? Did you think that like you thought that was Doc Ock like taking over the technology, right?
I
The,
did, but then I was like, oh well, it totally would make sense that the nanotechnology would like bond with Doc Ock's technology, and then you know like his Spider-Man Stark tech could then control it. I
yeah,
thought that was a really cool flip of the script. I was like,
that was
yeah.
such a great moment because he's like the thing his suit's like new device detected pair and I'm like
Hmm.
yes it was like so
Hmm.
funny. So Ruben, what happens is Doc Ock tears off a piece of the iron spider suit, right? And it's like nanotech, so it can like do magic almost, like it disappears when he needs the mask to be go away or whatever, right? And in the scene it looks like the hand is absorbing the tech, and like actually that look was cool, the red and black mixed on the arms, right?
Hmm.
So then Doc Ock's like, yeah, I like this nanotech, like, and you think he like incorporates it into his own thing, but it turns out the nanotech actually took over his arms and then Peter could control him, and that was super rewarding. That was like a great moment in the fight, so it was pretty cool. Oh yeah, Matthew says, "I enjoyed the dialogue between the three Spider-Men. It's like they've been friends forever." I also like when I think it was Andrew Garfield Spider-Man who says, "I've always wanted a brother, like I've always wanted brothers" or something like that. That was like a sweet moment between them. I like that because I experienced this myself, that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man had back problems, and that was a cute scene also when they
Hmm.
when like Andrew Garfield gives him a back crack.
Yeah.
It's like so funny. Yeah,
Dude,
I
Andrew
love
Garfield's
Ruben's reaction.
Spider-Man is so like lonely
Dreamy
and vulnerable. Like I
and
just feel like
dreamy.
he just
He's
like
super
needed a
cute.
hug. Yeah, he is, and he looked really good too.
We have our text message audience who says, "I love this discussion about Spider-Man. I have a question for you. Between the three Spider-Men, who would you date, marry, and F?" We got to do date, marry, and F for the. Okay, let me put up a banner for this audience. Feel free to participate. Which Spider-Man? So, hold on. Let me see. Which Spider-Man, Spidey, would you
So
date, marry, or F, right? That's
I
the
think that
question.
I would
No,
fuck
isn't it Mary Fuck
Andrew
Kill?
Garfield as Spider-Man because he I think is the most physically attractive, and he
Wait.
is
Who is this?
also.
This one's your Mary? You're
Oh
marrying
no,
him?
that's my fuck.
Oh,
Um,
Andrew Garfield. Okay, his
Uh-huh.
Spider-Man, right?
And
Okay.
he's too depressed and emotionally unstable. So I would not really want to be with him besides like the sex probably. Uh and then date would probably be uh Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then Mary would be Andrew or not would
Toby
be Tobey
Maguire's.
Maguire's. Yeah.
No, but it's
Interesting.
Mm.
Mary Fuck Kill, not Mary Fuck Date.
Well, this is what the audience asked. The text message audience, it's kill,
Because I
Kill
but
feel like I
Bill.
would prefer the more mature, like 40 year old Spider-Man.
To
He's
to
like
please Ruben,
wise.
to please Ruben, as a bonus, who would you kill of the three? Braxton does not want to answer that question. He's like, I wouldn't
He
kill
does
any
not
of them.
approve. He does not
He does
approve
not
of
approve.
that question.
Ruben, date, marry, or F? Which of the Spideys fall under those categories for you?
Uh, I would marry Tom Holland because I don't know him, so I'm assuming he's a nice guy. I would kill Andrew Garfield. No, I would kill Tobey Maguire for the dance sequence in Spider-Man 3.
Wow, harsh.
And I guess what was the other one? I would date or fuck Andrew Garfield, I guess. I guess.
What about you, softly boy?
I would date, marry, and F Tom Holland, like all of the above, but like an older version of the character of Peter Parker because I wouldn't date a high schooler. But like Tom Holland himself is this is a really bizarre question for me. Okay, anyways, no, okay, I would 100% marry Tom Holland. I would date
So Tom
Toby.
Holland, Spider-Man, even in this movie, is still in high school.
Yeah,
Mhm.
he just he's
He's applying
graduated.
to colleges,
He's
so he's
applying.
like
Yeah, they're trying to get
17
into
going on
colleges.
18.
Yeah, exactly. So like like that's a weird question because I would never date a high schooler, but or marry or F a high schooler. So yes, I would, but I would marry Tom Holland in a heartbeat. I'm so in love with Tom Holland. He's wonderful. And I agree that I'm sorry, Tom, even though you are wonderful. I agree that Andrew Garfield's a little bit more sexy than maybe like has a little more sex appeal. So I would definitely F him, and then I would date Toby.
Huh.
So yeah, we're kind of similar, right? Like almost there, like different date and marries.
Mhm, mhm.
It is funny though; they are totally believable as high schoolers. They're all older, of course. It'd be hard to cast like an actual teenager to play this part so well, um, but yeah, they could all pass for high schoolers. I totally buy it. That's the one thing about these guys. Like, I didn't really buy Tobey Maguire even back then as like um I guess he was like just I guess he was in his college years, but I thought he was like maybe I guess I bought that, but Andrew
Well, he's only in high
Garfield.
school for a little bit in the beginning of the first movie,
Oh, then yeah, then I didn't buy
and then he
it.
goes.
Tom Holland's the most convincing. He looks very young. He's a very
Mhm.
young looking person.
He does.
Yeah. That was a good question. Thank you, text message audience. Feel free to ask us more. Audience didn't chime in on that one because probably had probably because Tom Holland's like the winner. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see what else did I have in my notes. Let me pull up my notes here. No, I think we covered everything about Spider. I'm so satisfied with discussion. It is interesting that you gave the first 2 hours of 5, and then the last 30 minutes of 7. That's a huge jump.
No, so the last 30 minutes is a 9,
Oh, a
and it makes
9.
and
The
it makes an
first 2 hours is a
overall.
5. Oh well, that's why it gets a 7
The
overall.
last
I
30
get it.
minutes could actually even be a 10.
Oh, dang.
Dude, I mean, it was perfect. Like,
Dang, that's
dude, they were on the
they
Statue
were
of
really.
Liberty,
Yeah,
swinging
it's true.
around, collaborating, dude. Like, I feel like there are people who could like write some like fan fiction, in this movie. They're like, oh yeah, like, because like Andrew Garfield's Spider Man was so like vulnerable and like lonely. Like, what
I like
happened?
this. I like this
When
fan
like
fiction.
off camera, hmm I feel like somebody could totally write some interesting fan fiction. Oh, maybe I'll write that fan fiction, dude. Um, yeah, dude, we saw the Iron Spider suit. Like, for me, that was like the suit of the whole movie. I thought that was amazing. Um, but yeah, like, it was sappy. Like, I thought that adults again. enabling Spider-Man to make
That's a
really
funny take that I
poor
never thought of. Now to
decisions.
seriously think about it.
You
Like
know,
that's
like
crazy.
I just wanted to throw up from like all the tears that were in people's eyes all the time. You
You and my
know,
mom.
and
It's just
then
a movie, guys. Just relax. It's just a movie.
and then like they like fixed it by having like the dudes just like whirling around the Statue of Liberty, and I just thought it was fucking amazing.
Hamza Bakali says, and I hope I said it correctly, your name. I think Venom will be in the next Spider-Man movie, question mark. I don't know. Like maybe because it makes sense. Like Venom should be, I feel like Venom versus Spidey or Venom and Spidey, like the whole suit, thing where he takes over Spidey for a bit might be interesting. Although I do think that what is that, Spider-Man 3, right? Is the one with Venom with Toby.
Mhm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that movie did a pretty decent job at Venom.
Mm-hmm. It
What did you
did.
guys think of that?
Mm-hmm. Topher Grace's Eddie Brock,
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that Venom story. I also really enjoy the new Venom stories. Like I love the first Venom. I thought the second Venom that just came out,
The Tom Hardy ones you're talking about? I haven't seen them yet.
mm-hmm,
I'm dying to see those
the
now.
Tom Hardy one,
Yeah, everyone talks about them.
I thought that Venom 2 wasn't quite as good as the first Venom, but I really, really enjoy what they're doing. Um,
Right on.
So I was actually disappointed that that like Tom Hardy did not show up in this movie, and that he went back to his universe. It's not the worst thing, but just to say that I was looking forward to maybe like them interacting with
Yeah.
Spidey.
I mean, it would have been interesting if they did bring Venom into this. It would have been interesting because he would have been new to even the other guys because their Venom is different, right? Like Toby's Venom is Topher Grace, so it would have been interesting. Blue says, "Do you think MJ was like, these two guys are way sexier than my guy?" Yeah, I think that she had a moment like when Andrew Garfield came through, where she was just like, "Oh, you're
Hey.
not Peter," like
She
like
wanted him to crawl on the
on the
wall so
wall. She had
she
to
could see
prove
his
that was
ass,
really funny. Yeah, she wanted to see his ass to see if it
Uh-huh.
was like a little firmer than Tom's. I thought that was funny. I wish they had played it up a little bit though. They never actually did play that for laughs, did they? Like that would have been funny if like Tom was jealous of the other Spideys because like MJ was like maybe paying a little more attention to one of them or something. But it's okay. I mean, the movie was already packed with so much goodies, but that would have been another little moment that I was like kind of hoping for.
But people are in crisis, dude. They don't have time to be like checking out
Flirty.
asses and
Yeah.
flirting.
Yeah, it's true.
You're
It's
just
true. That's
trying to survive, dude.
that is true. It's a good point. What was the deal with the shield around the Statue of Liberty? I'm glad that shit got knocked down. Like, I don't want
Hmm.
anyone changing my Statue of Liberty and like adding
Hmm.
anything to it. Like, what did you think about that?
But this is a world where Captain America exists, and Captain America has died. So, I don't know. I think that Captain America is such an amazing hero that
I
maybe
agree.
possibly we would put a shield on the Statue of Liberty to commemorate his life. You know, I could understand that. They're like, "Ooh, we're gonna like paint the Statue of Liberty gold and then give her a shield to like celebrate Captain
She's
America's
that
life."
color all the time. She has a patina on her because she's made of copper. Did you know that?
What is a patina?
Oh, like that. You know how copper turns green?
Yeah.
That's called a patina. It's like a rust or whatever, like a little,
Mm.
whatever. And so
Mm.
that's why she looks greenish because she is copper and she gets oxidized or whatever from the
Oh,
ocean.
so she would actually be like copper brown.
Brown, yeah, brown's
Oh
like
wow,
a
like a
bronze copper
penny.
color. Yeah, like a penny. Yeah, that's her real color. So yeah. So they had add the shield, but they were cleaning her up in the meantime. They cleaned her up too and took off the patina
Mm.
from her. So yeah, that's one of the traits of copper or bronze. I think it's copper. Pretty sure that it turns green and gets when
Mm.
it gets oxidized like that. So yeah,
Oh, dude, that's
uh,
very cool.
I just don't like the idea of a shield because Lady Liberty is supposed to be like welcoming y'all. You know, like she's supposed to be like her arms should be open. There shouldn't be a shield. There should just the flame of freedom is what you see when you first come, and the shield was covering it up. So I kind of like was a little disturbed by that imagery personally, but maybe I didn't think of it from the perspective of like adding Captain America's like essence to it a little bit.
But our real life Lady Liberty has been telling laws like
It's
since
true.
it's been
It's
in that harbor
oh my
because
gosh.
many
It's
people have not experienced freedom and safety in the United States since that has been put up. So you know.
preach, preach, Braxton. You're 100% preach. You are 100% right on that. So maybe she does have a shield and it's invisible, and I don't see it.
Yeah,
It's a good
girl, like
point.
Lady Liberty has a sword and a shield. She is a fucking gun, dude. Like, yeah, she
She needs
got
the shield
Yes.
to protect to
Could
protect the
you
white
imagine if
supremacy.
that Statue of Liberty came to life all of a sudden from for no reason and was like, whoa! That does happen if you want to see that happen in Ghostbusters too. By the
dude, that's like the
way.
perfect transition for us to talk about Wheel of Time this week.
No, I have to go get another drink. The perfect transition to Chucky. You and Ruben have your Chucky moment while I'm gone. If you're all caught up on Chucky, because I'm not, and then we'll get to Wheel of Time after that. How's that?
Get your drink, and me and Ruben are gonna finish talking about Arcane.
Oh, okay, okay. Guys, thank you for joining us for the Spidey portion. We might have more stuff to talk about Spider-Man. I hope you enjoyed that. But now we're going to switch to Arcane. Then we're going to talk about Wheel of Time, and then we're going to talk about The Expanse a little. Are you all caught up on The Expanse, Braxton?
No,
You're not? Ruben, you're not either, right?
I've only seen season 1.
Oh, we might not talk about The Expanse. All right, I'll be right back. See you guys. Make it sure.
Ruben, you were telling me about your top three characters. So you said Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx for sure. I mean, I love Vi. Vi is so great.
Mm-hmm.
I love when she gets her little tattoo, her little prison tattoo of the 6.
So
Uh,
hold on, when did she get a
she
tattoo?
gets the VI tattooed on her face
Oh, I think I
after
totally missed that, dude.
after she goes to jail for that little time.
Oh, but I feel like she was in jail for like 12 years, dude. Like she was like 16, and now she's like 28, dude.
Yeah, I need to watch it again to get a better idea of what the time jump is.
Because I feel like Jinx was like 12, and now she's like 24.
Right.
Do you think Jinx was 12? No, maybe Jinx was.
In the beginning?
Yeah, maybe Jinx was 8 or 9.
Right, maybe 10.
Uh-huh. Because I feel like Vi has been in jail for like a decade, dude. Um, but yeah, my favorite three are Jinx, Vi, and Silco. Um, there's more. Like I love like that doctor who's like trying to preserve his life. Like you know, the like the young lady who's like obsessed with him and like wanting to work with him. Like when she was vaporized, I was like, oh my gosh, that hit so
That
heavy.
shit was amazing.
When the dad died, like those scenes were so heavy, and like Bob was like powder, like you did this. I was like, whoa. But on the other hand, dude, if she did not come in and blow all the shit up, like I feel like that rage monster would have killed everybody anyway.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, it's one of those things that she did good, but she also did evil. That's what I love about the show is that Blue Arcane is a Netflix series, animated Netflix series based on the video game League of Legends. Although you don't need to know jack shit about League of Legends to understand the series. I don't know anything about League of Legends, so I went in completely cold. But it's a hand drawn CG animated series on Netflix. That's fucking amazing. But it's R rated, just warnings. It's very adult.
a lot of guns,
I wouldn't
a
say
lot of
very
violence.
adult, but it's very R rated, bloody, a lot of violence.
There's gore, body horror.
Yeah, because there's no real like nudity or anything like
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
that. But no, I love the dynamic. I mean, the characters. What I loved about Arcane is the characters are all so supremely complicated. They're
Yeah,
so real,
yeah, yeah.
because you can feel that, like that moment when Jinx, when Powder makes the little bomb and she thinks she saved the day.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And you're happy for her because you're like, oh shit, her little machine worked. But at
Hmm.
the same time, you're like, oh my god, what did this fucking girl do?
It did. It killed like the boys. You know, I was like,
Oh my
oh
god, it's
no, the
just
boys.
chaos, chaos.
Dude, and all these years later, like Powder Jinx has like dolls of the boys that she like talks to in her
Yeah,
room.
and the way
Damn,
they would
like
do her psychotic, like her little like where they would do like the almost like the animated over. She would see like the demon really quick, like animated, like that's in that
yeah,
like scribble animation.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
dude. She's
so
totally
good.
nuts, dude. Totally nuts, like haunted by her past. And I always thought it was beautiful that like she would do like this like fucked up sick shit and like fuck some shit up, and her daddy would tell her that she was perfect.
She was perfect.
And she
Yeah.
was
Oh
perfect,
my
you
god, at
know?
the that ending when Silco's like, I would have never turned you in or whatever. I would He would have never like betrayed her when he's dying and he tells Jinx, uh, I would have never sold you out or whatever. That was so good. So fucking
Hmm.
good.
Damn,
Such a good
Ruben.
show.
Like, dude, like, you know, like I was just complaining about Spider-Man. You said that, now I have tears in my eyes. Dude, like, you know what? That is so beautiful, dude.
No,
Okay, it's so beautiful.
that's why Silco's such like fucking phenomenal villain because he's not even a villain really. You understand why he's doing what he's doing.
Hmm.
Yeah, you don't agree with it and whatever, but at the same time, you're like, he's kind of fighting for people who are powerless. You know what I mean? And it's like you kind of almost admire it in a way.
But at the same time, he's corrupt and he's doing
Yeah,
like bad stuff to
right,
obtain power at the same time.
right, right,
You
right.
know, so like,
So it's like you're like, I want to hate you, but I would like you, but I hate you.
hmm,
And then I'm
yeah.
curious about season two because I think they're gonna do more with the Jace, the black girl that he dated, and her mom.
Hmm.
Like I think there's gonna next season's gonna be like escalate
Dude, but
big
here's the
time.
Excuse me, Mr. Braxton. I just want to say, like, I noticed you were crying and getting all sentimental, and we don't have time for that shit on this show. Okay, see you later.
I did. But what are the repercussions for that terrorist act that Jinx pulls in the end? So she shoots the thing with powered by the orb. Like it looked to me as though she is vaporized by the blast. I'm not
Right.
sure because her body turns blue, just like the girl who was like hugging the doctor. Like her body turned blue and then she was vaporized. All you saw was her clothes. So like you see like the girl that Jax is dating, like the counselor, the minister or something,
Mhm.
and she is looking back as the bomb is about to slam through the window. Dude, like what are the repercussions of that? Like,
Yeah, that's why I think it's gonna start like a massive war between nations and between Piltover and Zahn.
mhm, mhm, yeah.
And that whole
Um,
thing with damn, I forgot that we talked about it for a second before, with the scientist guy, with the guy who's like crippled,
mhm,
and then the girl vaporizes. Like that whole story is done so well, and
mhm,
so simple.
mhm,
Like very lightly, just like if you're paying attention, it's all there. But they don't put it like it's not in your face at all times. It's so
mhm.
man, the writing on that show is just on another level.
Dude, it's like written really well. It's like voice acted really well. It's drawn so beautifully. You know, I didn't love like the mother. You know, um, the mother of the character that Jace is dating. You know, she
Right.
seemed like a little extra, um, but it fleshed out that character because we have seen her mother and her family. It makes me think that she is going to survive somehow because they developed her so much just to kill her.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know where this story goes in season two. But the thing about League of Legends is there is a lot of characters. They could take us somewhere else and show us another story.
Yeah, no, there's a ton, and they introduce a lot of characters in the show too, which is
Yeah,
pretty
they
amazing.
do. Oh, the black kid who's their friend.
Echo
He Echo, dude. Echo was so good, dude. I loved when Echo returned, dude. I was
with
like,
his fucking
oh,
skateboard and shit, like his little hoverboard thing. That thing is badass. I love it. Yeah, Echo was awesome.
yes,
Then
Echo was
the
good, dude.
little cat doctor, what was his name?
Oh,
Heimerdinger.
Hammerdinger, yeah, Hammerdinger was cool. Oh, poor Hammerdinger. They just like shuffled him to the side. They like
Yeah,
ousted him. Like Jace is cool, but Jace is also an asshole.
yeah, he's a total. He's kind of like he's not a dick, but he's also like an elitist. Like he's always had everything, so he doesn't see the problems as directly, I think, as other people, like his that partner guy, the crippled guy.
Like, dude, like who could do Hammerdinger like that, dude?
That's cold, bro.
Dude,
You're
it
like
was cold,
mentor.
uh,
You're like mentor, and you do that to him. Yeah, I'm looking forward because I love MMOs and
and your girl Va.
Riot Games that makes League of Legends.
Hmm.
They said last year they were making an MMO based on League of Legends,
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, if you give me some MMO that looks like that show,
yeah,
and I could
yeah.
just roam around on my horse
Uh-huh.
killing things, like I'm in. If they made a game that looked like that, that would be amazing.
Dude, it would be amazing. So what? That's Telltale Games.
No, no, no. Riot Games makes
Oh, right,
yeah.
games.
Telltale games are like they're like super story driven games. They're almost like you're playing a cartoon, and you get to make decisions at certain points, and then the cartoon keeps going.
Yeah,
They
I
make some pretty
played.
cool games. I think their Star Trek game will be pretty cool. But Riot Games makes League of Legends, and then they just expanded League of Legends with two more games in
Did you
completely
change?
different genres.
Did you change something, Starfleet Boy?
I took off
Oh,
the
you took
Santa
off your
hat,
Christmas hat. Oh, okay, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
now I have hat hair or hat wig. I wear a wig,
Mm.
as you know, and so Braxton, you're gonna see me in my wig in person. You'll be able to tell everyone if it's a real looking wig or if it looks as
Can
good
you show him
on
the little pube wig that you wear too?
the what wig.
The wig you wear down there?
I thought I misheard, dude.
I thought I misheard it. I thought I misheard too. Um. So wait, Arcane, Arcane is based on a video game.
Uh huh. A video game
Oh,
which I might add has no real lore. The game itself doesn't actually have lore. They created a lot of it for the show.
for the show. Do you think
Yeah.
it's to sell the video game, or do you think it's like?
No, I think Riot Games is trying to expand League of Legends because it's
Mhm,
their biggest game,
mhm.
and so they're branching off into. So they made two more games. They made there's these games nowadays that are really popular. They're just like effectively your character moves by himself, and then you make him jump when you need to,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and so it's called jumping games.
Oh, kind of like Prince of Persia. No, you could move
No,
around.
this
No,
is
that
way
wasn't
yeah.
like.
This is no. This is way more
Yeah, yeah.
simplified because it's meant to be played on mobile. And Heimerdinger is in the jumping game, and
Mm.
then they made another game called The Ruined King, which is like a turn-based strategy game with the League of Legends characters. So I think they're just trying to
PE.
expand League of Legends because League of Legends is huge.
Yeah,
It's
like,
been
good dude.
huge for
Like
a
these
long
are
time.
good IP we have. We need to make these revenue streams. It's like, oh yeah, dude. Let's you know, do this show.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Basically, they're like, hey, the game's been huge for years. It's one of the most
Mhm.
popular
Arcane.
competitive
Okay.
Arcane was beautiful. Like
No, the game is called League of Legends, not Arcane.
Oh, League of Legends, but Arcane is based on
On League of
the
Legends.
League of Legends. Okay,
what
like the
Ruben
League
was
of
saying brought me to
Shadows.
tears. He was telling me about like the love and like I got choked up, dude.
Braxton, that's totally negates your whole argument about the tears and the sentimentality in Spider-Man: No Way Home. I think you need to give it higher than a 4 or whatever, a
I tell you,
5.
you gotta look up
Yeah,
Braxton those
yeah,
YouTube videos. I'll
like-
send you the link. There's a doctor on YouTube who's been analyzing the relationships in Arcane and
She's a
Really?
female doctor, right?
yeah, she's a therapist and
Mhm.
she's analyzing how well the show deals with showing trauma and what trauma can do to people
Yeah.
and how it affects the same person in slightly different ways depending
Mhm.
on certain situations and whatever. It's really fucking amazing. And then the
Dude, I
soundtrack.
watched those, dude. Like, because it was like breaking down the. She talked about Vi and Jinx. She talked about Jinx and
And
Silco. She
Silco,
talked
yeah.
about just Jinx. Yeah,
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're amazing little videos.
dude, you should watch Arcane stuff.
I'm gonna check it out.
So good.
I'll have to check it out. Parentheses eyes here. Greetings to you. PE, did you see Spider-Man: No Way Home? Because I'm happy to start talking about it all over again. Let me know and what you thought about it. But also,
I mean, I can't watch it now. I've been spoiled. Thanks a lot, guys.
whatever. Anyways, also we're talking about. I guess can we transition into Wheel of Time? Ruben, you don't
Yeah.
care about spoilers for Wheel of Time,
Nah,
right?
nah.
Like you're not that.
Yeah,
He's behind 2 episodes, Braxton, so we can fill him in.
I
actually,
started
which
watching
is a
The
good-
Witcher too, which
a good
kinda,
thing. Oh, I've never seen the
screwed up.
first one either, and
haven't seen
I
it.
love the actor
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Yeah, and I thought I haven't seen it, but from what I saw in the trailers, it's like very different from his other roles. Like he seems to be doing something new and different. I think.
But isn't he just playing like stoic and real hot like he does?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Is he? Is
Henry
that what he's
Cavill.
Oh yeah,
has-
he's more stoic and hot than ever. Yeah.
dude, Henry Cavill has the personality of a turnip. He just
Of a what turnip?
of a turnip. He just looks amazing, though.
I
He
mean,
does look
I've honestly never seen him in a role where I'm like, oh, he's a pretty good. He's pretty good.
Because
It's
he has
always
no
kind of
range.
similar characters, but
He has the
Wow.
range of Ryan Reynolds, but in a different way. Like how Ryan Reynolds can only kind of really be himself. Like
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is just.
But you
kinda
know
like,
who else was like that? Sean fucking Connery, and he was
Sean
it's like
Connery.
Sean Connery only played. I mean, like he plays a Russian guy who's a Scottish accent with like in Hunt for Red October. But I see what you're saying. But anyways, Henry Cavill looks amazing in that show. I gotta watch The Witcher. So you're
Henry
both
Cavill
on.
looks amazing, like fucking all the time, dude. Like,
Did you see the video where he's building a PC, like a gaming PC?
he's a
built his own
huge
PC.
gamer.
He's a gamer. You might run into him on your online games, you guys.
Nah,
and
he's
you
a
don't even
World
know.
of Warcraft loser.
Oh,
Play a real game, Cavill. That's right. I know you watch this show.
dang. He does actually. Henry Cavill does watch Starfleet Boy. We can confirm.
Yeah,
that
he's
that
a
is
huge. He
true.
almost missed his
Oh,
audition
no.
for Superman because of
Oh.
World of Warcraft.
Oh no! Hopefully he won't hear me say.
Oh no, he's those guys have a thick skin, Braxton. They're
Yeah,
used
they
to
do.
it. They can take it. They can
That
take
But I
it.
dude
did
is
say
right
that he
now
looked
crying into $1,000 bill.
Yeah, he's so upset because he actually he was like, I had these feelings for Braxton that I didn't have for anyone else, and then when he said I suck, I was like, oh, okay, he didn't mean like that.
But I did say that he looked amazing.
That's
You
true.
did say that's true.
Mhm.
PE says I did see the new Spider-Man movie, and I love it. PE, feel free to ask us. We talked about it for almost an hour and 30 minutes, so feel free to ask us more questions so we can torture Ruben a little bit more about what we thought. We don't mind reiterating for you. I haven't seen any of the Wheel of Time. I want to watch Station 11. What is that? But haven't
Why do
watched
I
any of that either.
know
What is
what
Station
it-
11?
I've heard of that, but I can't remember where I
Let's
heard
look
it.
it
Wheel of Time will make you feel so good, and
Yeah, you got to watch Wheel of Time. I'm digging it 100%. It's really cool.
And I've like started watching like Wheel of Time channels now because I want to learn more about the characters. Like watching the show Wheel of Time has given me like a whole nother interest, dude. Like I am way into Wheel of Time, just like the world of it. It's like so amazing, you know. But yeah, dude, and this week's episode, like that cold open, that
Okay,
warrior
I'm
in labor,
ugh,
like whoa, and she like kills like 10 guys.
kills. Ruben, this is like okay. Ruben likes the Highlander TV series. Okay, no, here I'll say it
Well,
differently.
I used to like the Hamlet TV series. I
What? What do you
watched it
mean used to?
recently. I watched
You
it
don't like it
recently.
anymore?
And, I
Oh
mean, have you
no!
watched it? Have you watched it recently?
I started. I saw the
It's
pilot
rough.
again.
It's
Is
rough.
it?
Yeah.
It's really bad. What
It's not,
disturbs you? What
it's a
bothers you? The
90s
sexual
syndicated
stuff? Is
show.
it the sex stuff? The sexy stuff?
It is really perverted, right in the beginning of the
It's
first
and it
season.
like there's nudity and
Hold on,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is what is
yeah,
it?
it's Highlander.
Hmm.
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. I am immortal. I have inside me blood of kings. Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't know
Hmm.
this, Braxton? You gotta get it.
No. Mm-mm.
Maybe we
You've
gotta
seen
do a
Highlander, right? The movie from the 80s?
I
I
have. Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have. Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's a TV show
It's
based
a
on.
TV show based on that with a different McLeod. Anyways, but okay, so that show had some pretty good fight scenes. I'm trying to think like of all the fight scenes I've seen on TV, and honestly, the one thing I will say, whatever you think of Wheel of Time, that fight scene with that pregnant woman fighting all
Yeah.
these soldiers was among the top fight scenes I've ever seen on TV ever. Period. Like it tops Game of Thrones. It felt like I was watching a movie. In fact, I thought I was in the movie theater again and I was watching it on the big screen. It should be that fight scene is so fucking good. It should be on the big screen. It was
Dude, it's
really
epic, dude. It
it's
is fucking
epic.
epic.
Yeah,
You know?
Ruben, just watch it right now. Actually, it's like five. It's gonna take you 5 minutes. Like, pause your video game and turn on the latest episode. Just the beginning. It won't spoil anything about the episode. Just watch that while we're talking
Mhm.
about it because it's so fucking good. That scene,
Mhm.
like,
You
and
know, the cinematography in Wheel of
Wheel of
Time
Time.
is excellent. They are great at showing like a beautiful like backdrop and then some action happening like in the foreground.
Uh, PE says Station 11 is a new dystopian sci-fi limited series on HBO Max. It is about a big pandemic destroying civilization, and some of the survivors from it create a new cult. Oh, interesting. I'll check it out. I have HBO Max,
Oh,
so
I'm
I can check
stuck.
that out.
I'm stuck. Sorry.
So last week on the Wheel of Time, we had because we didn't talk about last week on After Dark, did we, Braxton?
I don't think
No.
so.
What happened in the this episode was so powerful to me that I forgot all the other episodes. Like,
So what
oh,
happened?
so what happened in the last episode? We finally met the Amerlin seat, which
The
was
Amelin seat.
the
Yeah.
Amerlin fucking seat. I love that actress. I can't remember her name right now.
Sophie Okonedo.
Thank you. She's been on Doctor Who, and she played a badass like queen in the episode of Doctor Who that she was on. Um, but she was phenomenal. Like the Amerlin seat for me lived up to the hype. Like because everyone's like the Amerlin seat, the Amerlin seat, and I was like, what is this Amerlin seat bullshit?
Mhm.
And when we met her, I was like, okay, that's the Amerlin seat. Okay, I get it. Like I'm serving her too. She's my queen as well.
It was beautiful. Her like full regalia was beautiful.
And her
you know,
startings,
and,
how
like,
she began, that story that they told of how she like started out life,
mhm,
and like that was heart
mhm,
breaking.
mhm. And to know that that girl became such a powerful magic user,
I
such
loved
a
it.
powerful
Loved it.
channeler. You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was amazing. You know,
What's her name?
Nynaeve.
Nynaeve. Is she threatened by Nynaeve?
I don't believe that she is. I think that the Armelin is very wise, and I don't think that she is. I don't think she is.
She's not a vengeful type of person. I don't think either. I think she's a very benevolent queen, but she has to be strong. She has to be stronger than those red bitches because they can fuck you up. And
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean? And she comes from the blue house, right? She's so what is it? There's red, blue, green, and yellow, right?
Red, blue, green, yellow. But there's also, I believe, brown as well.
Oh.
And the brown, they're like the intellectual, like Ajas. They like keep records and like they're like
Mm,
historians and things of that
mm.
nature. But yeah, but you have the green, the yellow, which are healers, the red, which is kind of like the police, the army, which is like the green, and then you have like the CIA, which is like the blue.
This is something that Wheel of Time takes a little bit from Lord of the Rings, because Lord of the Rings had the different wizards. There were the gray wizard, the there was the gray wizard, the blue wizard, the white wizard, um, the brown
The Grand
Radagast,
Wizard.
the red wizard, and then there was another wizard I can't remember. But yeah, that's something. Wait, what did you say, Ruben?
Nothing.
The mustard? No, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said the Grand Wizard. That's a
The grand. Oh, that's like, isn't the Grand Wizard the fucking KKK leader?
yeah.
Like, no,
That's a KKK.
there's no Grand Wizard in our fucking
Grand Dragon. Is it
It's not even the Grand Dragon. It's the freaking the dragon. Wait, what is he?
The dragon.
Yeah, the dragon, just superior dragon. PE says, according to Wikipedia, the Wheel of Time. I love that you looked it up on Wikipedia. The Wheel of Time is on Amazon Prime, which I don't have. Also, real quick moment to say that, like, I don't know if they're still doing their campaign to raise money, but for the first time ever, I chose to support Wikipedia because it is a great resource, and those folks, they need all the funding you can give. So I don't know if you all know this, but you can donate to Wikipedia. Highly recommend that you do it because it is a great resource. I hope you don't mind the spoilers, PE, but you know some people do. So you could tune back in when we start talking about whatever we talk about next if you don't want to watch spoilers for this. Also, in the last episode, we get the revelation that what's her name, the blue
Moraine.
thank you. They're lovers. The Amerlin Seat and she are lovers, and they're doing it in a different dimension or some crazy ass portal. I don't know what was going on there. Like, that was interesting.
So in the books, there is a dream world where people can meet.
Shit.
So people are hypothesizing that that's like an adaptation of that. Like she stepped through that painting.
That's where the
into
wolves
dream
go.
world.
The wolves lead the dream world.
Oh, really?
That's on the and that Perrin guy is a
Is the like the leader?
is a
like
wolf
wolf man.
person. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. But yeah, so that was
Yeah,
that was
wolves
cool.
are the only creatures that are in the dream realm and the real realm, or something like that.
Oh, wolves.
And that's
Look
why
at that.
Perrin eventually becomes important because he's a wolf person.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's spoilers from the book.
Well, that's cool.
No, we kind of figured. We already know. I think it's safe to infer the show's kind of given us that hint, right? Like that he's a wolf person
Right.
because they love him. They like look out for him. They help him out. You know, all that stuff. So I get that.
He likes to smell
Rosamund Pike
ass.
needs to win a damn Emmy for like the way that she moves when she's channeling. When she takes the darkness out of Matt, dude, and she like pulls her hand out, and then she's like pulling it,
Yeah,
and then
they're
she
really
like
good
does
choreo-
like
yeah.
this, dude, and she like drops it into like the knife, and it like comes across her face, dude, and she like does like that.
Kill
It's amazing,
Wait, I gotta put
dude.
Braxton. I gotta put. I already missed. I was gonna put you full screen because you were doing such a good job at the movements.
Dude, I was channeling.
You were channeling.
Oh,
Jeez.
dude, she like pulls it out, dude. It's amazing, dude.
Should we cosplay at Star Trek Chicago as Wheel of Time characters instead of Star Trek characters? Just to throw everyone off. Like everyone's dressed in their Star Trek outfits and we're like dressed like, Wheel of Time characters. It would be really funny.
But dude, I really want Rosamund Pike to get a nomination for her work because it is like great physical work. I think that she is giving us. Also, she really does a great portrayal of the stoicism of an Aes Sedai. Like she's given us so much she's given us so much feeling behind like an almost stone face. you know, and I think it's amazing, you know. I mean, she like like Lady Moraine, like oh my gosh, like she looks like, I mean, she looks like a lady. Like
She
she's like
does look
wearing
like
these
a
beautiful dresses, dude. Like
gorgeous dresses.
yeah,
It's true. And just the way she like what you said it, like you said it right, like the way she moves and like she's so elegant but also very powerful. Like there's just
yeah.
like it is really beautiful to watch. I didn't read the Wheel of Time novels. Someone had told me about how good they were, and so I might actually have to pick them up and read them because I love when I like a story. I have to say for like I was on the fence a little bit of Wheel of Time because I was enjoying it, but I thought it was a little bit like derivative maybe of Lord of the Rings and some of these
Hmm.
other things. But this last episode, the most recent episode, convinced me. I'm hooked. Like it was so freaking. Ruben, what I was just saying is like Wheel of Time to me, I was enjoying it, but it felt like derivative. But this last episode, I'm hooked.
Mm,
Like the latest
mm,
episode, which we haven't
mm.
talked about. Did Ruben change his shirt?
He did.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
happened? Did you? What
I don't
happened
know.
to
My
you?
other shirt was like hot. It felt hot.
That's why I took the Santa hat off. I was hot in it. It's
I
like
just
very
turned on the air too.
Is it in the 70s tonight in Florida?
Probably.
funny.
Let's see.
It's 75.
I'm at 78 here.
Dude,
Oh
like
yeah,
it's like 60 degrees here. Like it's warm up and down the East
that's
Coast.
warm.
It
Yeah,
is,
60 is
dude.
warm.
It is.
That's like
Yeah.
t-shirt weather. What?
It should be in the 30s tonight, you know, but
What's
no.
going on? Are we in trouble? I always get worried. We have tornadoes in December, which is unusual. It's so strange what's happening in the world
All
right
those
now.
poor people.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I was
What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was reading about this woman who like well her and her children survived, but she said that she got into her bathtub, and she said that she's lucky that her children survived because she said that like you know the tornado hit the house and the bathroom door blew open, and she said that like the tub like raised up, and she
Oh
said
my
that she
god.
couldn't even hold her children, like
Oh
her
my
children were like ripped from her
god.
by the winds, you know. And she's like, "Oh my god, like I'm so lucky that we all survived." But she was
Wow.
like holding her children in the bathtub, and she couldn't hold them, like because like the winds just like you know took them from her, you know.
Say what you will about hurricanes, but we have a lot of warning time. We have a lot of time to get the f out of the
Oh,
way. You
I'll
know
take
what
a
I mean?
hurricane
Like
over anything.
over a tornado. Yeah, any day.
Tornado,
Like
earthquake, you name
yeah.
it. Snowstorm.
Right. Oh, I feel like we so this was a great episode. Besides the opening scene, I love Nynaeve and her really powerful acts of magic. Like to me, like she reminded me of like a Care Bear and like Heart Bear. Like in this last episode, like I feel like it just like exploded out of her heart. She's like, "Oh my god, like I have to protect my people," and she just like performs these really fucking powerful acts of magic, even though she doesn't know how to do them. They just like come from her heart. You know, she's like, and I don't know, like she like did the thing and she like screamed and she was like, ah, and her hands were like this, dude. You know, um, like dude, Naive is just
All
amazing.
right, that scene. So Ruben, in the latest episode, we get a couple of things going on. So like in the previous episode, basically, why can't I remember? Why can I never remember our favorite witches? Our favorite.
Moraine.
Thank you, Moraine. Moraine convinces the
Asadai!
Asadai.
That's
Moraine
it, it's a
convinces the Amerlin
timer.
seat that the only thing you could do is like to banish me from the White Tower, right? And so she's like, and I have to take these guys, is it four? The four possible dragons with me to go fight the Dark One at the Eye of the World, right? So we have what's his name, Matt, right? Like Matt's the guy who took the blade from the evil town, the ghost town, right?
Is it
What's
the
his
snow
name?
fight? Is what you're talking
I'm gonna
about?
go to IMDb. I gotta know these
I'm
characters.
watching the beginning of episode 7.
Yeah. Oh, you're watching the snow fight right now? Yes. Yeah. Just watch that fight. enjoy the fight. It's really, it's a really good fight. Is Raxon still there? He went. He went make it show. Hold on. Wheel. I put Wheel of Braxton in Google. That's funny. Wheel of Time. All right, I'm gonna get these characters' names right. I'm so sorry. It's so wrong of me not to. It's so bad. All right, Moraine. And then so then we have Egwene, who's one of who's the girl who can kind of do magic. We have Rand, who's like her boyfriend. We have Perrin, who's the werewolf guy, and then we have Matt. I was right. I knew their names. All right. Anyways, I knew Matt's name at least. But Matt, so they all
That's
have
why
to
you
go.
don't wear capes. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, what she
This is
does,
why
right?
you don't wear
This is why
capes.
this is a good fight scene, right? Like this is why this is a really good, well thought out fight. How insane is that fight scene? Are you watching this fight scene? You are, so you know it's
Yeah,
insane.
I'm watching.
It's pretty good. Anyways, where did Braxton go? I want to talk to him. He'll be back.
I'm back. I needed to get reboozed.
I was gonna say, so in this episode, so she convinces to banish them. She takes her 4 guys. Any one of them could be the dragon, and they go to this portal. And this portal is supposed to take them to the eye of the world, where they're gonna, right, where the ways, and it's supposed to take them to the eye of the world where they're gonna meet the Dark One, and whoever the dragon is gonna fight or join him, and then everyone else is gonna die. And Matt fucking puts himself out of the equation and stays behind when the rest of them go in. And so he's separated from the group. So we have only 3 of the 4 possible dragons at the eye of the world. And we find out, because this crazy, what was it, the dark wind?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We find out that maybe... So it turns out that Egwene thinks she can. Okay, so this dark wind.
So
comes,
Egwene can channel. She can
channel, but she thinks she channels this like energy that knocks this like evil wind out of the way or whatever. But it turns out that it was actually Rand who channeled and did this crazy spell that was very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so he thinks he's convinced he's the dragon. And he goes to Moraine and he tells her that, and she believes him. And so she and Rand are going to go fight the Dark One by themselves, and they left everyone behind so that no one else would die. That's basically the latest
Now,
episode.
Rand is the dragon in the books.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
So this is... Okay, so then that's it. We know who the dragon is then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Braxton, have you read all the books? Are you you've read all the books?
Dude, no. Like I've been watching fucking videos, dude. And
I know. Nice. I love it.
And like book readers are talking about the differences between the books and the movies.
Oh, I love that. That's cool. It's good that you have that perspective to show us.
Something else that is very interesting. You see how close Egwene and Rand are. Egwene becomes the Amelin seat at some point in her journey.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
And Egwene and Rand are at odds, because like he's like this king, she is the queen of the Aes Sedai, and right now they are in love. Like I noticed in episode 7 how they were like in bed, and she was like, "Oh, like nothing can ever come between us. Like nothing is as important as this." And I was like, "Oh, this sets you up for conflict because like because you will not always be friends. In the end, like you will probably be at odds."
Interesting.
You're telling promises that you will not keep.
Braxton, Ruben's watching the opening scene of episode 6, and is it over yet? Because it was a long scene. I forgot.
Oh yeah, I kept watching. I just totally forgot that I was even on the show.
But wait, what did you think of that scene?
No, it was really well done.
It was really well done, right? Like it's such a badass fucking scene, and like Ruben wasn't even fully paying attention right now. He was with us
that actress.
He forgot we existed.
Her name is Magdalena something, but she is she's a stunt person. And like,
Phenomenal.
and this is like, and she acted so well, like, I mean, the face that she was like given, and she was like having that baby, and then like the dude put the thing up to her neck. Like, I did want her to say like, please, my baby, like, I want her to say
She
like,
doesn't get that woman does not give a fuck. Like she's like ready to like she was ready to kill everybody to protect
hmm
that child. I loved it. It was great.
hmm
That's why
hmm
that boy is the dragon. That's his mama. Like that bitch
yeah,
like fucked
yeah.
everyone up. That was like crazy. PE says I was going to dismiss the Wheel of Time because it's a fantasy and I don't consider myself a fantasy guy. But when I think about it, fantasy is a lot like sci-fi. George Lucas is
hmm
a believer in that. He considers Star Wars to be a fantasy over a science fiction film because
Well,
it's
I
true.
consider
There's,
Star Wars fantasy.
Fantasy, yeah. Uh-huh.
but what I'm saying is there's
Science fantasy, not science fiction.
I mean,
science
because
fantasy. Yeah,
it's wizardy.
yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah.
The
well,
force
space
is very
wizards. Yeah,
wizardy.
I
basically.
mean, at the
Yeah,
end of the day, all stories are the same. They're all based on several fundamental building blocks that are just
myths and
window.
things, right?
They get different
Allegories.
window dressings.
For example, in fantasy you have monsters, in sci-fi you have aliens, in fantasy you have magic, in sci-fi you have super high-tech stuff. But functionally speaking, it is all the same to us. It's kind of true. It's true. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. You're having a moment with us there, PE. Thank you. That's like really cool. You should give fantasy another
It's all
chance.
about
Hey.
story. Forget about genre. It's all about story.
But dude, like, so let's talk about like, I mean, Ruben, you have seen one of Nynaeve's big, powerful acts of magic. I
Yeah.
love Nynaeve's big, powerful acts of magic. Ruben, what did you think about her first big,
Oh,
powerful act of magic?
when she screams and brings everybody back to life,
Mm-hmm.
she does the
The healer. She's like the healer
yeah,
character.
she's
Like,
the healer.
She performs like the act of radiance.
No, I think it's cool. The only thing, I mean, I probably could learn this just by doing what you're doing and watching videos and stuff.
Mhm.
I just and maybe I haven't seen episode 6 and 7, so maybe these answer my questions. But
Ruben, you need to get people from this show on your interview series. You need to start interviewing people from this show for sure.
I would love to. I would love to get the production designer.
People, the Amerlin seat, get Ruben some interviews. Thank you. Anyways, that got like Braxton going. I thought that was a stupid joke. That's awesome. but anyways, carry on, Ruben.
Well, no, the only thing I was gonna say was that I just don't understand the world yet, which is a little annoying to me. Like I don't understand the magic and who can have it and who doesn't and how it works. But it's not
Well-
to a degree that's bothering me watching the show. It's just something I wish they would dive into a little bit
In
more.
a way, the Aes Sedai might be the problem. They're kind of like the Jedi because they're so strict with their doctrine. Like, in the fact that like men, they don't believe men should have the power, to wield magic. They think it makes them go crazy. Plus, it's not the same. Like
Well, it does because the Dark One poisoned men to
Oh, see, I
become
didn't realize that.
insane when they channel. Because, like, so the dragon before the last one who broke the world, that dragon like sealed the Dark One in like a place, but in his last act, as he was like reaching for the door, he like did something to like taint
Corrupt
them,
men.
to corrupt, right, to taint the magic of males using the
See,
one
this is
power.
stuff that I guess this
Mhm.
is stuff that the show hasn't explained yet. They probably will work it in or weave it in somehow.
So there's like little extras and stuff that you have to watch that catches
Oh,
you up
shit.
on that backstory.
Okay, I got it. I'm
Mhm.
gonna tune into all these things. PE says, "What's the website for interviews?" You can check out a lot of Ruben's work on ruben-writes.com, which is which is not updated regularly. But if you go to
I put the links there in the chat.
Oh, you did. Thank you. It does. I don't know why it doesn't. Where? Because it doesn't. Google blocks links. I hate that. If you put it in the private chat, I'll post it. Yeah. I'm sorry. That's not me blocking it. Google does that automatically. Oh, what did he just? He just hit something else. He thought he was hitting the private chat and he left. Anyways, while we wait for Ruben to come back, you can also check him out at popaxiom.com. Sorry. Oh, there he is. You can also check him out at popaxiom.com and also Rue Morgue. Right? Is that correct, Ruben?
Yeah, Rue Morgue. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Braxton, what were you gonna say, dude?
I put it in the private chat. The link.
Okay, I'll paste this.
Dude, I am in love with Nani. Like, she is so fucking amazing. I love
She
her
is really
wonderful, powerful acts of magic. Like, I love how, like, she's an asshole, but she just wants to fucking protect everyone. I love the relationship between her and Egwene. You know, Egwene is so brave. Like, thinking about like Nani's journey, like Nani was like trying to protect like Egwene when those Trollocs came through, and like that Trolloc like fucking kidnapped her, and like Egwene thought she was dead, and then like fucking naive, like fucking Nani fucking killed the goddamn Trolloc. She's performed 3 serious feats. Like
I actually thought she was going to be the next Amerlin seat, so I was a little disappointed to find out in the book that Egwene's going to be the Amerlin seat. But yeah, Nani
Egwene is
amazing.
a brave girl, dude. And I feel like her power is growing.
Egwene is like the Indian girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But the name Egwene seems like an homage to Arthurian legend, Igraine, who's from that. But interesting. Braxton, what about her and Lan? What do you like?
Actually, I'm sorry to cut you off. I don't know how much you know, but Robert Jordan wrote most of the books, but then he died before the books were done.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Brandon Sanderson was hired to finish the books. And Brandon Sanderson has a really cool YouTube series where he talks about like world building, writing characters, creating magic for a story, like so it's like how like how to create a world for a novel writing, because he's a novelist. So yeah, it's an interesting. Robert Jordan wrote.
How did he get picked? Were they friends or what?
He actually has a video about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They knew each other, and then Brandon Sanderson already had a series of popular books in kind of the same genre. And so when Robert Jordan died, the wife kind of looked for somebody to finish it. But it's pretty interesting.
Dude, that is really fascinating.
My friend who's read all the books says that actually he likes the Brandon Sanderson stuff even more than Robert Jordan.
Even though it's fan fiction?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So there's a weird sort of fan fiction. But yeah, I've never read any of his books, but Brandon Sanderson's an interesting guy to watch if you're into learning about world building and writing and stuff like that.
So Brandon Sanderson, there's 14 total books. Robert Jordan wrote 1 through 11. Brandon Sanderson wrote 12, 13, and 14.
So he finished the series.
That's
Did Robert Jordan leave notes or something? Like, was there anything to go off of? Yeah.
I'm sure. Writers,
there's
probably so much stuff that didn't make it into the book. So many ideas and like background and like
whatever you read, there's usually 3 or 4 times more than what's there.
Yeah.
So how many of the books does the first season seem to be covering?
Oh, so reading Wikipedia says
Nice.
Jordan died in 2007 while working on what he was planning to be the final volume in the series. He prepared extensive notes so another author could complete the book according to his wishes.
Oh, right on. And do you guys know which books the series this first season seems to be covering? Is it just the first book, or
1, 2, and 3? It's
so
taken
this
from 3
first.
books.
Oh wow! Okay.
So the first volume, basically.
Yeah.
3.
Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many episodes are we gonna get? Because we're on
8.
episode
10, no?
8.
8. So next week is the finale.
Oh shit! I gotta catch up.
We'll have a spectacular finale edition on Starfleet Boy After Dark. We'll do a little chat about that. All right, cool. Well, I
Dude, like,
think. Go
can we
ahead.
talk about the naive seductress?
Yes. Oh,
Seductress
yeah. I wanted to
Nynaeve?
talk about this because she was horny as fuck in this episode. Nynaeve was so horny. Like, I've never seen this kind of horniness on TV before, but she was very persistent and ready to go. But I do like Rex, and you pointed this out. She did say, "Do you want me to leave?"
Really? So you
Which
can
is
imagine, like, people are at like the end of the day, and they like totally want to like kiss or something, but like nobody's really making the first move, so they're like standing in front of each other, like looking in each other's eyes for like 30 seconds. Dude, it was like 30 seconds, dude. I was like, oh, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot. And then like Lan goes into his room, and you think, okay, well, there was a lot of tension there, but like, okay, we're just gonna get ready for the journey. But dude, then she just like walks into the room, and then she stands there for 15 seconds, and she says, "Do you want me to leave?" And then
what?
like he
Wait,
like,
Braxton forgot that he started to undress to go to bed, and so
This is with
he's
Nynaeve and the warder.
yeah, and the
Mhm.
warder, yeah, and so he's totally shirtless. She walks. He like okay, so like all right. There's this cute thing that happens. Like she's a stalker, first of all, so she's stalking Lan, and he goes to like see his family, his found family. We find out in this episode, no surprise, that Lan is a prince. He was going to be the king of this kingdom, and the kingdom got overtaken by this like blight, right? The blight is what took over his kingdom, right?
yeah,
Yeah, this like crazy gnarly decayed tree branch growing thing took over his village, and like it was just like a horrible thing. So that's why he's kind of like one of the servants to the family saved him and raised him as his own kid, so he has his found family. Anyways, Nynaeve was like stalking him because she wanted to see where he's going, and I could tell at first she was like, oh, he's gonna go see some hoes and he's gonna fuck all night, and then she realized, oh no, this is way innocent. Like he's like hugging people and it looks like a family setting and there's like a kid or whatever. And he the whole time he knew she was like watching him or whatever, and he cleverly like does this thing where he like sneaks out the back door and comes out in the front very fast. And he's like, what the fuck? And but then he's like, are you gonna decide? Do you want to come in and hang out with us? So they hang out, they have like this cute moment. And at first I didn't know what was going on because he's like his like stepfather or whatever is like yo, that girl's really hot, and he's like, I didn't notice. Like, remember when he said that, Braxton? He was like,
yeah.
I didn't
I
notice that
hadn't
she was hot.
noticed.
I
Yeah,
hadn't noticed that she was hot or whatever. And then they go and they're like walking, they're having good chemistry, they're having a good time, and they're at the door, and he kind of like he's like deuces, good night, have a good night, and he like leaves, right? Like there's no kiss or anything, but there's a lot of tension. And so you could so like she's like that's like a no in my opinion. Like at first, like it's like, he's like good night, like bye. He closes the door and that's it. It's over. She was so horny that she has the audacity to open that door and walk in when this
mm,
man is changing for bed. He's taking his clothes
mm,
off. She has
harlot.
she has the audacity. No, in a good way. She has the audacity to walk in and she's all like, and he turns around and she's like, "Do you want me to leave?" And he doesn't say anything. Does he say no? He
He doesn't
says
say
he
anything.
doesn't say anything. But they do start making out, and they definitely effed. They definitely fucked.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it paid off. So that tells me that when I'm horny, I need to be more persistent, right? Like, is that the message? That's like I should just walk in and watch you change, whoever you are, person I'm horny for, in your in right? Like, is that, and just say, do you want me to leave? And
You
then
know, that
in real
is,
life they would be like, yes, I do.
you know,
I do. Yes, I do want you to leave. Goodbye. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'd never talk to that person again. But that's what
dude,
would happen.
in these things, you have to be persistent, dude. Like, I feel like I want to do a non-Eve now. Like, I'm just gonna walk into
Oh.
somebody's room. I'm gonna like stand there for like 15 seconds and not say anything. I'm just like, "Oh, do you want me to leave? You know?
Do you want me to leave now that I've seen you
I'm so waiting
naked?
to have sex for the first time. That sounds like fun.
Oh, also, Before we leave the discussion, dude, like,
Yeah.
because we're a little bit past this now.
Yeah, we gotta head out soon. It's true.
So Nynaeve does the real powerful act, and then like you see like Nynaeve does like the powerful act and like is holding the things at bay, and then Egwene is like, oh, like Moraine opened the gate, and then it like pans to Moraine, and Moraine's like is like arched back, dude. She's like channeling, dude, and like and it's so amazing, dude. It's so amazing.
It is such a great scene. That was like I wanted to put you when you were arching back. It was like,
like dude, her channel like amazing. Dude.
no, the show's definitely won me over. I hope it gets greenlit for another season because this season's pretty good so far. Yeah.
They're gonna do at least 3 seasons. They already have
Fantastic.
another 2.
None of y'all are watching The Expanse, but I think so far it's off to a great start for the final season. Before we go, I just want to say hopefully you all catch up for The Expanse. Maybe we'll talk more about it.
Dude,
next
how
week.
can I catch up on The Expanse? Like,
dude, like this is season 6 now.
And someone, it was PE, yeah, The Expanse season 6. PE says next week is the finale of Hawkeye. I'm gonna watch this whole weekend with my mom. I'm gonna binge it and we're gonna watch it so we'll get caught up because everyone's praising Hawkeye. In fact, Trek on the Tube I think said it's his favorite MCU TV series so far, the Disney Plus series. So yeah, I gotta check out Hawkeye.
Yelena Belova is on it. Yelena Belova showed up in episode 4. Episode 5 just aired. Now that Yelena Belova is on it,
who's that? Who's that? Remind us, Yelena.
She's Black Widow. She's like
Black Widow,
little sister.
Oh yeah. You're right.
Florence Pugh, pew pew pew,
pew 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 pew.
So now that Yelena Belova is on it, I'm gonna start watching Hawkeye on episode 4.
Oh, you're gonna skip the beginning and just go straight to episode 4?
I don't care about that other shit. I just want to see Yelena Belova. I want to see like the Widow's Bite. I heard that like the Widow's Bite is like really cool.
Oh, all right. So next week we'll talk more. We'll talk about the finale of Hawkeye as well in our discussion. So
there's a fight where somehow like Haley Steinfeld's Hawkeye is able to like hang with a widow, but then fucking Florence Pugh fucking throws off a fucking building. I was like,
oh wow! All right, well,
the girl's a cutthroat, dude.
Oh my gosh, Braxton, yes,
dude. The Black Widows are really cool, though.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
Very cool stuff. All right, well, guys, I had so much fun. This was a short and sweet Starfleet Boy, only 2 hours. Thank goodness. We usually go on for like 5, so it's so nice. It's been fun talking to y'all. Thank you for showing up. Thanks for. I could not talk about Spider-Man, so I'm glad, Ruben, you just bared through that. And thank you, Braxton, for talking to me about it because it was fun talking about it with you. And yeah, audience, thanks for being there. We loved your questions. We look forward to more. I like that kill, whatever Ruben says. Date, marry, kill, whatever it is. I don't know.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, whatever. But I like the date version of it that our our audience came up with. We might do more of those. Maybe some Star Trek versions of that.
I have one quick thing to say before we leave.
Yeah, go.
So you were thanking us for being your outlet for Spider-Man talk. It reminds me of the joke that was made like on the Statue of Liberty when they were like, oh, like you can like make your own Spidey fluid. And he's like, oh yeah. And they're like, oh, does it come out of anywhere else? Oh my God.
That was funny. That was really funny. That was a great moment in the movie. Ruben, they even like touched on the whole thing that's Toby Spidey has natural like web shooters. It was great. It's just a great. Anyone who loves any of those Spider-Man movies, this is the movie to watch to just like It's a love letter. It's such a good fucking movie.
It
I
is a
love
love letter. That's
it is
true.
a love letter. It's so
Mhm.
good. I loved it. It was
The
great.
last 30 minutes, at least.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like for sure the last 3 minutes. But for me, since I really enjoy the other series, it was also a nice little wrap up on that segment of the Spider-Man journey, and I think it's cool because in a weird way, it makes me like wish that Star Trek would do this kind of thing. Like, I think it's okay to have a multiverse in Star Trek. It doesn't all have to be this bullshit prime timeline. I love those Kelvin movies, and I think it's great that they're in another universe. And I think honestly, like, it's
The people
okay.
are
I
too
get it.
old, though. Starfleet boy. Like, I mean, what? Like, Discovery could have like a mashup with like what, like Enterprise or
No,
something. But
just
like,
yes. Discovery could have a mashup with the Enterprise and the Kelvin films. Like I'm all for
and the
all
Kelvin
these.
films,
Yeah, I
yeah.
100% think it could all happen, but who knows? Whatever. Spider-Man so far has pulled off the multiverse in the best way I've ever seen pulled off. Like it was very satisfying, especially those last 30 minutes. But
Is Scarlet Witch the multiverse? No, no.
there's probably a version. There is in the animated. Did you watch the What If series?
Yeah, it's multiverse everybody basically.
Yeah. Watch the What If series if you
Multiverse
haven't seen
everybody.
it, because actually there's a lot of references to that in multiverse stuff. So yeah, I would agree. PE will let you have the last word, which is Hawkeye is an awesome show. One aspect to it is that Clint Barton, Hawkeye, is going deaf. Oh, I did. I heard about that.
Oh,
Wears a hearing aid and is learning sign language.
he
Oh,
doesn't
that
even
is
shoot guns. Why is he going deaf?
a lot of. We'll find out. I gotta watch. I gotta figure it out. Anyways, audience, thanks for joining us tonight. Live long and prosper. We'll see you next week. Oh, next week, we're not going to do Starfleet Boy After Dark on a Friday because Christmas Eve is like a
This
big deal.
Christmas
Yes. But we will
will
do it on Saturday.
be
It'll be Starfleet Boy After Dark on Saturday. So
Boo.
if all of y'all want to join us on Saturday, we'll do it then.
a very
What happened?
special
What's happening to Ruben?
Christmas.
Why is there no Starfleet Boy After Dark next Friday? Hiss. Boo.
It's
Hiss.
Christmas,
It's not in the get.
Christmas time. And then the following week, the same thing. It's going to be on a Saturday because New Year's Eve is on a Friday. So, wow, look at you. Ruben's not enjoying the Starfleet Boy After Dark being on a
Starfleet
Saturday.
Boy is going to be baking cookies and getting ready for Santa, dude. He will
And
not have
He's gonna
time
be
to be
baking.
podcasting.
it's so true. That is what's happening. Braxton got it. All right.
Next Friday is when I will premiere my new channel, Starfleet Man.